You're listening to the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
AFL. On ABC Radio.
On digital. And on the ABC Listener.
Look for the AFL button.
One of the great matchups of modern footy, which has special currency given the stakes for the GWS Giants, who are fighting to keep their place in the 8. But they've had 3 straight wins. They take on an extra degree of difficulty here this afternoon as Geelong comes to town, keen to affirm their top 4 place. And both sides bursting with big names who return for this twilight fixture at the Sydney Showground. Hogan and Whitfield back for the Giants. Bailey Smith returns for the Cats. Well, not long for the opening bout here, where the subs are Harvey Thomas for the Giants. He fulfilled that role last week. Ollie Henry is the sub for Geelong. This is Saturday Footy on ABC Sport. My name is Brett Sprigg. Daniel Garb calls the action alongside me.
Good afternoon, Spriggy. Great to be here. Nice afternoon in Sydney, and this is a blockbuster clash. I mean, we know about Geelong and where they sit in the scheme of things. The Giants are just fascinating because I think a lot of people would think if they can get into a nice position come September, they can still challenge for the premiership. But they're not guaranteed of a spot yet in the 8, which is why games like this are so interesting to watch on a very big day for the football club. Lachie Whitfield's 250th. He's been there from season 2. And he will be no doubt celebrated in a big way today.
I mentioned that team news. James Leake and Max Krajewski are the ones who make way. The Cats had an unused sub last week in Mitch Duncan, who was subsequently injured in the VFL. So Bradley Smith is the only change for them. Our experts are Norm Smith medalist Ryan O'Keefe and former Lion and Giant Joel Patfull. I want to ask you first up, gents, with the fact that GWS have beaten the Giants on the past 3 occasions, albeit by small margins, what is it about the Giants that they match up well against the Cats?
Oh, look, I think they probably, physically, in that midfield, I think that the Giants have been, really strong in that part of the ground, and probably I think that's where they get over the Cats a little bit. And then obviously, the Giants, some of their key defenders, historically being able to match up, particularly like say on Jeremy Cameron. I think Taylor, I know he's not playing at the moment, but I think he's been a really good matchup for what the Geelong's forwards have been able to throw at him.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. They've had such a good track record, but I put it down to also the Giants loving a challenge of playing against the best. They usually bring their best footy against a good opposition. Those mid-tier games are sometimes a bit of a concern for the Giants, so they always get up for the big games. But the Cats haven't been able to stop Jesse Hogan. He kicked 7 last time, and he's kicked goals against them the last 3 or 4 times as well. So be a big focus for the Cats, how they can keep Jesse Hogan quiet tonight.
Both sides had big tune-ups last week against, I guess, lowly opposition. The Giants' attack is a huge part of what they do, and they've put up some big scores the past few weeks. But Adam Kingsley spoke to our guys earlier on AFL Saturday about the importance of going man-on-man across the back 6 or front 6 and not allowing Tom Stewart, for example, too much space in that part of the ground.
Yeah, and Tom Stewart's such a key player for the Cats. He orchestrates them down there, sets them up, then starts their attack. Geelong historically have been a team that do like to attack from, start their attack from their half-back line. And the boys had a really instrumental half-back player like that over probably the last 10, 15 years. So Stewart's a real key to that. So I think it's really important you don't let the Cats get what they want, and I think if you can do that to them, you can generally find a way to beat them.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised if they have a specific matchup and someone to go with him, at least early, like what you said, set the tone so that Geelong don't get the game on their terms early. He's such an important player. The intercept mark these days is such a crucial part of the game, so expect to see, even like someone like Cadman might go to him early and get involved in the footy, because he does put himself in positions where the footy follows him. So a big challenge for the Giants forwards today.
Lachie Whitfield, 250th, old teammate of yours, Joel Patfull. What does he mean to this Giants group?
Well, he's huge. He's kind of one of those players that goes under the radar a little bit, and I'm sure if he was playing in Melbourne, he'd get a lot more accolades for what he's done for his career. Well, exactly. It's true. Right, though. I mean, he's 2-time All-Australian, 2-time best and fairest, and 250 games playing up here in Sydney. You could probably walk down the street in Melbourne and no one would know who he was. So he's been huge. He's been there from the start, and one of those core Giants players that showed resilience and loyalty to the footy club and kind of built the club from the foundation. So for a bloke that looks like he hasn't really spent too much time in the gym, he's done well to get 250 games.
On the boundary is Declan Byrne for us. G'day, Declan.
G'day, team. Brilliant conditions down here. Perfect for footy. 17 degrees. Dangerfield won the toss for the Cats, so they'll go to the right of your radio dial. And I just saw Bailey Smith shadow boxing, so he's ready to rumble.
This is Saturday Footy on ABC Sport. High stakes, 8th versus 4th. The Giants and the Cats getting us underway on ABC Sport. Here is Dan Garb.
Stanley and Briggs are ready to go. The first bounce has been made. Stanley wins the tap cleanly. Tom Green can't get hands on the footy. Briggs then overruns it. It's work towards centre-half forward for Geelong. It's a loose handball from Fonte. Picked up by Myers. Gets it to Sean Manor. First on the board for Geelong. In the space of 20 seconds, a fumble from Fonte, seized upon by Myers, and Manor did the rest. Geelong won straight 6. Giants yet to barely touch the footy.
Can't ask for a better start than that. Just, on a road trip for a big game like this, to put one straight on the board and to get them going. So look, I don't think we can read too much into it, but it's always good to get off the mark very, very early.
Well, you can always tell from the first contest there's a lot of energy around the footy, and Geelong just wheeled the ball forward there, didn't they? A bit of pressure, clean hands in tight, and a beautiful finish. So great start for the Cats.
The clearance, Geelong. Ollie Dempsey involved as well. In bright sunshine here in Sydney. You mentioned a trip on the road. Well, it's the Cats' first time leaving Victoria for 5 weeks. Also the second last time I'll do it this year. The next assignment's against Sydney next month. So back here in the same city against the Swans at the City Cricket Ground. See if they can get to 12 wins as the Crows did earlier at Docklands against the Bulldogs. Briggs in the middle there competes with Stanley. Towed forward by the big man Briggs. Bailey Smith out after it as well. O'Halloran for company. Finn Callahan beat to the ball. Holmes dispossessed there by Angwin. O'Halloran bursts away, slips the tackle, shares the hand pass off here to Darcy Jones. Handball picked off again by Dempsey. On the overlap go the Cats, and Smith's kick bounces out of bounds for a throw-in on the outer side. Cats are won straight 6. Giants hit the score. Declan Byrne on the boundary.
Giants today wearing their Indigenous strip for NAIDOC week, and the Cats in a clash jumper that they debuted in the pre-season. I don't think they've worn it since. Basically all Geelong blue with 3 white strips on it.
Briggs works Stanley off the football, gets it to O'Halloran. And GWS go inside 50. Well done, though, by Jack Henry, who read that better. Then Jake Stringer took the mark in defensive 50. Now spots up Brian Myers, the left half back. His kick is such a weapon for Geelong. And he's accurate once more. Finds Blitzarves on a long lead. On his left, goes to half forward. Cameron out to meet it. Controlled the footy but couldn't take the mark, and then Atkins does the roving over the top to Dempsey, who swings on to his right, and the Cats have their second. A bit of class from Ollie Dempsey, the rising star of last year. Geelong 2 straight 12. Giants yet to score, and again Ryan O'Keefe and Joel Patfull around half forward. They look super dangerous.
Yeah, they're looking very sharp. It's just their foot skills that look really, really elite at the moment. Started with Meyer. But, yeah, that's just some skill there by Dempsey. He's a little bit of a sideways movement just to evade a few defenders and just put that through. So, look, I think it's really important. 2 inside 50s for two goals. And I will always keep saying that the scoreboard pressure is one of the most important things. And if you can put it on early and just build that pressure, it's a good thing.
100%. A few key matchups as well. Looks like Bedford is gone down onto Stewart, so he's one there to watch. And also Callahan and Bailey Smith head-to-head in the midfield.
Holmes and Toby Green on that half-forward line as well for the Giants. Restart back in the middle. Stanley wins the tap down there. Smith was held by Callahan. Umpire lets them play. Dangerfield hunts the footy off half-forward here. It's come back to the wing. Dangerfield tries again. Off there to Stewart. Hand pass out in space. Bailey Smith allowed it to bounce there for his teammate in Jack Bowes. And now Smith goes inside forward 50. Lecalier up in front. Strong intercept mark on the chest. The Giants are way off half back.
Gets it going to Angwin through the corridor. Angwin's kick was meant for O'Halloran, but they've turned it over again in a dangerous position. GWS. Well done, Lockie Ash. Try and win it back. But the Cats force it forward once more. Myers to Manor again. Over the top for Jezza. There's Cameron in the pocket. He might just swing on this. Couldn't collect the football though. Well done, Kelly. Got it back to Buckley. Sweeping hand pass to Bedford at left half back. Kelly's kept this in. And the Giants can keep going over the top. He's found Callahan.
Callahan's been it before he had it. Tries again. Sliding in now. The hand pass cut off there by George Stevens. Can the Cats win it back on the wing? Whitfield goes in hard there for the Giants. Toby Green. Back throw Halloran. And run down from the side. Great tackle that was by O'Connor. Footy comes loose. Scuttered here by Bowes. The Cats are away again. Marked by Stevens. In fact, I beg your pardon, it's closing the long sleeves, of course, at half forward. Goes wide to the flank, and now inside 50. The kick easily goes from Bowes to Bailey Smith, who marks 35 out in the pocket.
That forward pressure from Geelong coming inside. making the tackle, forcing the turnover through the midfield. But then the way they're working it through that half-forward line, they're just looking for space, not rushing it, picking the right option, going inside 50.
Voice of Joel Patfull, Saturday Footy on ABC Sport. Here's Bailey Smith back in the side, missed last week through illness. His set shot misses near side, out of bounds on the full. Geelong 2 straight 12. The Giants are yet to score. 5.5 played first term. Saturday Footy on ABC Sport.
Lachie Whitfield has the Sherrin for the first time this afternoon in his 250th game. Such an integral member of this football club. That kick's not one of his best in his fantastic career so far. It's out of bounds on the full. So they're stunned here early, the Giants. Humphreys brings it back in, goes long into attack. Cameron flew for it. That's better from Whitfield. Bumped his opponent off the football, but then he's caught holding the football in the forward pocket. Game 250 off to a slow start for Lachie Whitfield, wrapped up by his very good friend and the Giants' leading goal kicker of all time in Jeremy Cameron, who will have a shot from 15 out in the tight angle left forward pocket, swings around on his right, no mistake, goal 701 of his career, and the Cats are 3 straight 18, Giants yet to score.
What you like about the Cats, it's a sort of a trademark of their game, is they really swarm the contest. That, you know, their mids and their players, they get a lot of numbers around the contest, so if they force you to sort of fumble and bumble, then they've got enough numbers to quickly get it, and then they can get it forward very quickly. So you just watch them hunt. You watch these blue jumpers; they'll be hunting the packs, hunting around the contest, to be able to clean up any missed ball that the Giants don't go with.
Jeremy Cameron's 100th game as a Cat. Of course, his career at the Giants, 171 games.
He would have loved that one as well, yeah. Jeremy Cameron getting Lachie Whitfield. Was it 10, 15 metres out on a slight angle? Not a great start.
Lachie Whitfield said this week it's Toby Green or Jeremy Cameron, the best he's played with. Couldn't split them. You got a reminder of Jez's talents in a big way early on in this one.
Over to you, Toby. What can the Giants do here? They win it forward of halfway for starters. Tom Green, hand pass off to Rowson. Kicks one that falls back to Tom Green. Tries again. High kick inside forward 50. Hogan marked under it there for the Giants. Out in the half forward, Toby Green lays the tackle down there on Stevens, and the umpire says it's high. And a Geelong free kick at centre half back. They've kicked the first 18 points of the game, the Cats, with those 3 goals. 8 minutes played first term. Saturday Footy on ABC Sport in the twilight here at the Sydney Showground.
Here's Stevens, 21 possessions and a goal on debut last week. Good kick out wide to Dempsey on the wing. To half forward the Cats go. Cameron the target again. Knocked it to grounds. Manor roving. Fonte gets hands to it this time. To Iden at half back, and then his handball is a little bit too hot for Lachie Ash. Boundary throw in, left half forward for Geelong. The Cats 3 straight 18. Giants yet to score. Saturday afternoon footy on ABC Sport.
I know teams don't discuss hoodoos necessarily. It's all about the here and now as far as game prep goes. But they would think about the fact that the Giants have gone to their home ground, beat them 3 times in a row.
5 in a row.
Yep. 5 in a row, I beg your pardon. 3 close ones, 3 recent ones. And they're here to make to atone for that here in Sydney. Kick inside 50. Down there for Kelly. Bats it back here. Kept alive by Dempsey. Ollie Dempsey swings it back to the corridor. Callum Brown in defence. It comes down here. The Cats around the football. Myers hand pass chopped off. Comes back here again to O'Sheen Mullen, who fires on goal and misses to the left-hand side. 3-1-19 Geelong. The Giants are still yet to score. 9 go on first term. Saturday Footy on ABC Sport.
You can just see the work rate from the Geelong players, just getting numbers to the contest and just absolutely outnumbering the Giants at every part of the ground.
Myers and Dempsey, both with 5 touches early, wreaking havoc at half forward for Geelong. Lachie Ash brings it back in from the behind. Hogan out to meet it. Down to Tom Green. Now Angwin sends it up to half forward, but his kick is smothered. The Giants win it back on the wing. O'Halloran looked for Toby Green. He's well wrapped up by Max Holmes. Umpire gave Toby Green a lot of time to get rid of the football. Now Halloran's won it back for GWS. Looping handball to Toby Green in the middle of the ground. Mullen wraps him up quickly. They are fierce at the moment, the Cats. Ralston gets it back for GWS. Now to Lachie Ash at centre half forward. Goes all the way back to his captain in green. Now out wide looking for Stringer. Well done by Zach Guthrie, cutting across to spoil. They are not getting any time on the football at the moment, the Giants. Boundary throw in right half forward, but the Cats have come to play in a big way.
Yeah, but the Giants are putting the pressure on themselves. They're giving these sort of, hospital hand passes, just giving it to someone else, making it someone else's problem and just putting themselves under pressure.
Well, it's Ryan O'Keefe on ABC Sport. Back in it comes. Stringer. Also shrugged the tackle. Still alive here, the Giants inside 50. Dropped by Rouston. Darcy Jones had a path cleared for him. Rouston goes in hard there on Holmes. Fires out the hand pass. First player there, though, is Jack Martin for the Cats. And they swing the hand pass wide here. Smith from the back pocket. Over the top. Bit of a chain here. Lawson Humphreys handball picked off. Callum Brown snapped in the left forward pocket. And the Giants do get that first goal at last. Callum Brown with their first major. The Cats are 3-1-19. Greater Western Sydney 1 straight. 6-11 going first term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Your experts are Ryan O'Keefe and Joel Patfull.
It's first time they've actually got it deep into their forward 50 for the quarter. And they brought the heat too. It was really good forward pressure to be able to press the Cats there.
Yeah, it was Josh Kelly that came forward. It looked like the Cats were going to clear again quite easily, but came forward off his opponent, put the pressure on and turned it over. It just shows how important those forward 50 pressure acts and turnovers are. So big focus for the Giants, but that's what Geelong's been doing to them, putting the pressure on, turning the footy over and get it going their way.
Cats by 13 points, 11 minutes gone in the first. Callum Brown averaging 2 goals a game over the last 2 months, with a very nice finish. One of 3 out-of-contract players in the Giants side at the end of the season, along with Lecalier and Xavier O'Halloran. A number of suitors after him as it's a free kick to Geelong, and Stanley is allowed to play on, kicks deep into attack, and Shannon Neal taking a grab deep inside 50. The Giants all seem to stop. Stanley waltzed through, kicked it long, and Neal's taken the mark. He'll kick from 20 out, almost straight in front.
So that was a ruck infringement. So what Riccardi did then, he stepped over the line before it was bounced. That's what the free kick was for. But then Blitzars, I think it was, then just took off and and everyone just thought, hang on, you have to go back behind the mark to take it.
Kick 3 last week and the win over the Tigers. For the instant reply, Shannon Neal. Thank you very much. Geelong back to a 19-point advantage. 12 minutes gone in the first term, and that was a strong grab and finish from Shannon Neal.
He looks good up there, doesn't he? He's almost like he's the Tomahawk replacement they've been looking for, and he's slotted in quite nicely down there next to Jeremy Cameron. But great use of the body. It's a genuine one-on-one against Lecalier. Bit of body contact, and just showed his strength there to be able to hold on to that. So important for a big tool to be able to take those marks in a one-on-one contest. And he's a beautiful kick as well. When he gets his opportunities, he very, very rarely misses, which is a key aspect of a good forward as well.
Earlier at Docklands, Adelaide beat the Bulldogs by 11 points. Wally Thilthorpe kicked 6, Aaron Norton kicked 5. The Bont had it 37 times. Adelaide now up to 3rd with their 12th win. Geelong hunting their 12th win for the campaign here. So far so good against the Giants. Restart back in the middle as Briggs competes with Stanley. That was a wonky bounce, so it's recalled there by umpire Curtis Du Bois. By the way, it's Brett Roseberry's 550th game today. Is it fair effort? Yeah, 550 for Brett Roseberry, who's out there today here as well, one of the 4 officials. Briggs out of the ruck. Hurries it inside forward 50 here and goes straight down the throat of Jake Stringer, who marks 45 out and angles slightly right of centre.
Centre bounce clearance has become very vital. A bit like last week's game, we called it the SCG. It's just get that direct, get it in deep, forward gets a mark, shot on goal. Kicked a couple of goals last time these sides met. That was round 9 at Kardinia Park. As I mentioned, they've won the past 3 overall, and 5 of those all up at Kardinia Park. The Giants against the Cats. Stringer with the set shot here. It sneaks through. Stringer on the board. Margin back to 13. Geelong a 4-1-25. GWS 2 straight 12. 14 and a half played first term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Brett Sprigg, Dan Guard. Your experts Ryan O'Keefe and Joel Patfull. It's an important goal. Like Geelong have absolutely dominated this quarter so far, but the 2 entries, 2 goals for the Giants has just kept them there. And I think once they start getting their hands on the ball and going forward, it looks like for both teams who can get it inside 50 scoring. So both defences are under the pump a bit.
Yeah, you're right. It's that isolation. They've been able to isolate. And there's actually Stewart who was on Stringer there as well. So that's a win for the Giants forwards. But a quick kick out of the centre clearance, it doesn't give the opposition a chance to get the third man in and help out that opposition defender. So crucial.
Seems very on brand for Jake Stringer to have AC/DC as his celebration song here at Sydney Showground. An important goal for the Giants. Cats lead by 13 points. Plays against his former side, Essendon, next week, does Stringer. Free kick on the wing to Bowes for the Cats. Inside 50, Geelong go again. Himmelberg's underneath it, trying to do the spoiling. Does so down to Fonte. He's wrapped up by Manor. Ball up, right forward pocket for the Cats, who are 4-1-25. GWS 2 straight 12. Will be Briggs and Neil down there. Down to Manor, squeeze it across the face. Dangerfield controls it nicely, shirks the Aaliyah tackle, then gives it up to Whitfield. They haven't cleared the danger yet, the Giants. Callahan's dumped in the tackle. And we should have a ball up in the left forward pocket for Geelong. Umpire, let's play go on. Eventually, the ball squeezes out to Dempsey. Now to Myers. Atkins, well tackled by Angwin. Tom Green wins the hard ball, and now Kelly gets it to Lekalia.
He just thumps it clear beyond defensive 50. Out in the contest. Strong mark up in front down there by Jake Riccardi. In the one-on-one against O'Sullivan. Hand pass forward here. Comes to Brown. Well weighted kick from Ralston. Just forward of the wing here, Callum Brown. Kicked their first goal. And the Giants strike here again. Pops it inside forward 50. Reaching up overhead. Callahan. Ricochets down here towards Ralston. Goes off the outside of the boot. Misses left-hand side. Out of bounds on the full. It remains Geelong 4-1-25. The Giants are 2 straight 12. 16 gone. First quarter. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
End-to-end stuff early on, as Whitfield is very well placed to cut off the kick from Henry. That's Jack Henry. Ollie Henry, the sub for the Cats. Whitfield's marked it at left half forward. A big milestone day for him. Game 250. Guides it into attack looking for Hogan. And Stewart, the loose man back there for Geelong, has picked it off. Sends it back to the Whitfield area. Holmes underneath it. Worked Whitfield under the football rather too easily. And then got the quick handball on to Close. Now to half forward. Dangerfield's in some space. The ball did not sit up nicely for him. Fonte got hands to it. Back to Aaliyah, and now Jack Buckley.
Hand pass really goes nowhere for a second. Ralston gets on the end of it though. Handball back here towards Bedford. They're surging forward here, the Giants. Back to Tom Green. Pops it inside forward 50. Straight down Tom Stewart's throat this time.
That was a sign. Riccardi was all on his own there. That was a sign of that we're just too focused on getting to Jesse Hogan.
Geelong by 13. Stewart's intercept goes across half back here and ends up with Bally Smith on the point of the square, defensive side of the wing. And then turn to Manor, who scored the first goal of the game.
Manor to half forward. Sits up nicely for Jack Martin, who's into attack now. His kick is scrappy and bypasses Close. So the Giants can rebound through Iden. Man who grew up in Geelong, of course. London born, though. Well done by Darcy Jones on the wing. Good contest. But Sambo went straight to O'Connor. He overran it for a moment. Cats win a back throw through Atkins. Here's 360. Afforded him some space. Gets it to O'Sullivan at half forward. Play on, says the umpire after he was tackled. Guthrie inside 50 and Close's mark for the Cats. It just went in the 15. And Close, with number 45 on his back, will kick from a 45-degree angle to the left, about 50 out.
Well, my only thing with the Giants in their attacking ball movement is that handball. They seem to cough it up and turn over a lot of ball with handball.
Close goes short, and he spotted Patrick Dangerfield in a much better position. He's 30 out, directly in front.
I just think they're a much better team, I think, when they get those kick mark chains and have a little bit of composure. When they get this sort of happy handball, just get it going, and it seems to turn it over and cough it up. And that's why I think sometimes you see them when they've got a lead and they keep playing that way, that they let oppositions come back over the top of them.
The Cats champ, Patrick Dangerfield, and directly in front to restore their 19-point lead. Has pulled this one to the left. They've been accurate so far. That's one you'd expect Patrick Dangerfield to kick. Fails to do so. 4-2-26 Geelong. GWS 2 straight 12. We've got 19 minutes in the first. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Lockie Whitfield kicks out from goal. In the corridor he finds Angwin. Inside defensive 50 here for the Giants. Swings it back across that half-back line now for Connor Iden. Himmelberg. He's 194th AFL game, Harry Himmelberg. Speaking of underrated players who have had a pretty good career. Got a milestone coming up as well, Harry Himmelberg. Called to play on at left half-back. Members side of the Sydney Showground. 2 on 3. Big pack. It's down there, dropped by Connor O'Sullivan. The Giants go inside forward 50, but again it's chopped off down there by Jack Henry, and he lets them rebound pretty quickly.
And it's Manor who's finding a fair bit of space, who gathers it at left half back. Well done by Jack Buckley. Read that kick that was designed for Neil and spoiled it down to Ralston. Over the top now to Callum Brown, who's marked it on the wing. 1 goal to his name today. That's a poor kick though. Straight for Bedford. Manor dropped the mark though, so Bedford was able to gather it in the end. Tough tackling from the Cats means the footy spills to Watkins. He goes inboard to O'Connor. He's marked it in defence of 50. Geelong leading by 14 points. Mark O'Connor assesses his options and now goes laterally to O'Sullivan. Pick 11 from 2023, having a huge impact this season. Up to the wing. He found Blitzavs, who was far too tall for Angwin. And then Bailey Smith is caught by Angwin and caught holding the football. Well, he got the handball free. That might have been a little bit harsh, but the Giants fans love it nonetheless. Angwin catches Bailey Smith holding the football, and then Ash just strolls into the middle of the grounds with no real plan whatsoever, and so Geelong have won it back. Dangerfield to Watkins, and now they work it out to half forward for Cameron. Iden with the job on Jeremy Cameron. He spoiled it over the boundary line on the outer side on the wing, down to Declan Byrne on the boundary.
The milestone man, Lockie Whitfield, copped a stray from Max Holmes before. The Docs had a good look at it. He was holding his mouth out there for a little while, but he looks like he's been cleared and good to remain out there.
Cats lead by 14 points.
That last bit of play is what I'm talking about. Like, they just handball to no one and they turn it over. It's a bad habit that some players have got. They've got to get out of the game.
Socket forward by Briggs, gathered here by Tom Green. Room to bounce on the outer wing. Shares it back to the flying Finn. Callahan. And now Ralston, busy in this game early. Sends it inside forward 50 here for the Giants. Leaping up. Horrigan beaten in the contest. Down there towards Stringer. Socketed away in space. Stewart competes there with Brown. Brown scrapping for it there. Stewart does pluck the footy clear, but he's run down straight away. Free kick for a push in the back. Geelong ball inside their defensive 50. 14 points is their lead. 22 gone in the first term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
They're going to have to look at this Stewart matchup as well. He's doing what he pleases down there. He's not really paying too much respect to Stringer, who's his direct opponent at the moment.
Jack Henry up to the wing, and Lockie Ash spoils it away from Brad Close. Nice crowd here building at Sydney Showground. You can tell when some of the upper tiers are being used that it's a healthy crowd for GWS. Down to the boundary and Declan Byrne.
It is a great crowd and a healthy amount of Geelong fans, but Cal Ward is here on the bench. He's limping around doing a bit of assistant coaching. First game he's done that. He said he hasn't re-signed yet and hasn't decided, but he's doing a bit of coaching.
A free kick here for a high tackle going the way of the Cats. So it's Atkins, an advantage paid here to Manor. Just thumps it towards 50 here for Geelong. Out to a 2-on-2. Now another whistle on play. This one going the Giants' way for a hold there from Neil on Himmelberg. Adam Kingsley asked about that this morning as far as Callan Ward. The fact that I think even this year was supposed to be his last year. A premature end with the knee injury suggests he may yet go on next year, but the decision's not been made quite yet. Alia back to the members' wing. Briggs dropped the mark. Manor gathers here for Geelong, sends it back from whence it came, but onto the chest of Lake Alia, who intercepts it left half back.
Alia goes across his own defensive 50. Himmelberg to Buckley, who came into the game under an injury cloud, was subbed out of the win against West Coast with a sprained ankle, but has recovered nicely. His kick finds Ash at right half back. Cats leading by 14 points, 23 and a half gone in the first term. Ash is a man free on the wing in Josh Kelly. He's copped one high. That could be 50. Well, interesting call not to pay it by the umpire. It was late from O'Connor, and Josh Kelly is taking a while to get to his feet. I don't know how that's not 50. He'd taken the mark clearly before he was...
it was in the active play.
Well, he's
got a cut above the
bleeding
eye.
from the top of his eye. He seems okay, Josh Kelly. That's the good news, but I thought he'd taken the mark well before he copped the hit.
No, that's just an active play.
Might be looked at, though, by the match review.
Playing a physical game, what are you supposed to do? You just let him take.
I think everything's looked at these days.
You cop someone in the head.
They're going to be looking at it.
Yeah. He'll come from the ground, Josh Kelly, via the blood rule. Perhaps it wasn't 50, but it's still something that'll be looked at in a marking contest, perhaps. But O'Connor certainly caught Kelly very high. He's drawn blood. The good news is that he does seem to be okay in terms of concussion issues. It's the Cats by 14 points here at Sydney Showground.
So the Giants from the outer side through Whitfield. His 250th game. Short kick to find Fonte. Fonte has options up ahead. Sends it deep toward the pocket. Running start there from Hogan. Down here it comes to Bedford. Left foot snap smothered. Trickles out here. It was too low for Cadman. Awkward regather off to Angwin. The Giants now with Darcy Jones. Slaps it back in the corridor. Cadman bursting by. Runs into the Stewart tackle. Ball comes loose. Holding the ball. You'd like to think so. It wasn't quite the most convincing disposal from Aaron Cadman. And the 5-time All-Australian defender will have it for the Cats at fullback. They lead by 14 points. 26 go on first term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Stewart up to the wing with possession number 6 of the first term. Aliir was dragged off that by Neil. Well spotted by the umpire. Working his way into the quarter nicely, Aliir.
Yeah, he started very well. He started this quarter very, very well.
A lot of responsibility placed on his shoulders in the absence of Sam Taylor. He works it forward to Fonte. Left half forward into the pocket. Here goes for Cadman. Couldn't take the mark. But he has won a free kick, perhaps. It is going to Cadman. Well, not sure how much was in that one. The Giants didn't seem to appeal too much for a free kick, but Cadman's been awarded it against Stewart for high contacts, it looks like, and he'll kick from a tight angle just inside 50.
Been cracking down on high. There's been a couple that have been a bit dicey.
A little bit. It was 50-50, wasn't not much there, but umpires obviously having a bit of a look at it. But that's the one they need to look at. Cadman on Stewart, force him to come out footy so he can't drop back into space.
26 goals for the season for the former number 1 draft pick. This is working its way back. Just hit the post. It was drawing beautifully from Aaron Cadman on the left boot, but it hits the upright. GWS 2-1-13. The Cats are 4-2-26 late in this first term.
You're right, Joel. If you've got to play like Stewart, you've got to make sure you play through his opponent to make him accountable.
Zach Guthrie goes long to the outer side. Big towering grab by Dempsey. Got up there. Paid the grab. There's a hand pass, though. Off here to Myers. Cats are away on the outer side of the ground. Another tumbling mark taken on the outer side by Atkins, or Manor, in fact it is. Called to play on. Goes inside forward 50. It's missed a couple of targets out there and bounced out of bounds for the Giants free kick. Aliir will receive the free kick in the right back pocket. Geelong are 4-2-26. GWS are 2-1-13. 27.5 played in the first quarter. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. From Texas, as always, 0437 774 774.
Aliir up to the wing. Hogan's the target. Made a good contest. Henry there with him. That's Jack Henry. Got it to Myers, who did a lovely 360 to spin out of trouble. Pop it over the top. There's another whistle on the play. And it's a free kick to the Giants. And Aliir, who is having a dominant first term down back for GWS. Up to the wing now from Callaghan to Darcy Jones. They play on quickly, the Giants. Jones to Cadman. Kept moving. Kicks deep into attack. Toby Green, the target. Almost took it one-handed. Then did his own roving. Nice tackle from O'Connor. Ball up deep in attack. But he did everything but mark that, Toby Green.
He did. He is all over him, O'Connor, though. He's obviously got a match up there as well, and he's not giving Toby Green much space at all.
Cats by 13. Holmes brought down there by Darcy Jones. The umpire says, give it to me again. Giants attacking scoreboard side of the Sydney Showground. Ball up. Stanley beats Riccardi, and Stewart thumps it clear here for the Cats. Aliir out after it now, competes with Dangerfield, brought to the boundary line. Danger goes with him. Ball comes out over the line for a throw-in, not far away from Declan Byrne.
Shannon Neal's given away 3 free kicks in 3 minutes to Aliir, and I think he's dragged himself. So he's walked off and walked away, talking to himself. He's really annoyed. Aliir comes off now, but yeah, Neal furious at his ill discipline.
And a nice round of applause from the Giants fans for Aliir. 8 disposals in this first term. As Tom Green wins another contested possession. Didn't have too many options though, so threw it on the boot. Goes straight to Bailey Smith, who dropped an easy overhead mark. Holmes though was able to recover for him, but then under little pressure, Bose just sends it over the boundary line on the full. Free kick to the Giants, perhaps late in this first term in what's been a frantic one. The skills are just starting to drop off a little bit as Buckley goes short to Ash.
Long kick the first 3 goals of the game. The Giants have picked things back somewhat. Switch to the outer side. Iden marks inside the defensive 50. Plays on around Dempsey. And now on the outer side, O'Halloran. Big overhead grab. Wheels and goes now. Deep inside 50 now. Cadman chasing it back with a flight. Green does the crumbing. No, he's beaten there by Guthrie. Handball was messy. Toby Green tries again here for the Giants. One back here as the hand pass from Guthrie again goes out of bounds for a throw-in. So a stoppage inside 50 here for the home side, who trails by 13 points. Declan Byrne on the boundary.
Quick update for you on Josh Kelly, who came off with that cut on his right eyebrow. He's sporting the bandage around the head, as you'd expect with those eye cuts. They don't stop bleeding, so he's looking a bit like John Eales.
Half-hour mark here. It's rugby season as well. British and Irish Lions tour. How are you going? There's the second tick down in the opening term. And there is the quarter-time siren here at the Sydney Showground. This twilight fixture saw a hot start for Geelong. They kicked the first 3 goals of the game through Manor, Cameron and Neil, and Ollie Dempsey also on the board for them with those 4 goals in the first term. 4-2-26 plays the Giants, who are 2-1-13 with Callum Brown and Jake Stringer, their only goal scorers thus far. On ABC Radio, News Radio and the ABC Listen app, this is Saturday Footy on ABC Sport.
Every day, all around Australia, extraordinary people create moments that inspire. See them, hear them. All you have to do is nominate them at australianoftheyear.org.au.
Australia's Test Tour of the West Indies is on now.
What about that? Unbelievable!
Catch every ball on the ABC Listen app. Just look for the cricket button. This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Work towards centre-half forward for Geelong. It's a loose handball from Fonte. Picked up by Myers. Gets it to Sean Manor. First on the board for Geelong. In the space of 20 seconds. Blitzarves on a long lead. On his left, goes to half forward. Cameron out to meet it. Controlled the footy but couldn't take the mark. And then Atkins does the roving. Over the top to Dempsey, who swings onto his right. And the Cats have their second.
Jack Martin for the Cats, and they swing their hand past wide here. Smith from the back pocket, over the top, bit of a chain here. Lawson Humphries, handball picked off. Callum Brown snapped in the left forward pocket, and the Giants do get that first goal at last. Briggs out of the ruck, hurries it inside forward 50 here and goes straight down the throat of Jake Stringer, who marks 45 out and angles slightly right of centre. Stringer with the set shot here. It sneaks through. Stringer on the board.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
A few moving parts to play out across this Saturday and indeed across the weekend as far as the AFL top 8 is concerned. Earlier, Adelaide got up to third, or reaffirmed their place in third spot with that win over the Bulldogs by 11 points. Riley Thilthorpe kicked 6 goals, Aaron Norton kicked 5, Bontempelli 37 disposals. So the Crows now into third, and we have a clash here of 8th versus 4th. Of course, there's still to come later on. Freo versus Hawthorn at Perth Stadium, massive game for both sides there, as well as Richmond v Essendon at the MCG. You can hear both of those games, of course, available on either the ABC Listen app, on the AFL or AFL Extra button. So a full call available of those Saturday night games in round 18. Here at the Sydney Showground, you're with Brett Sprigg, Daniel Garb, Declan Byrne. Our experts are Ryan O'Keefe and Joel Patfull, and it's the Cats who lead here over the Giants by 13 points.
So, got that one. Interesting one towards the end of that quarter. The Geelong Cats got out to a flying start, really. They're up and about, plenty of pressure on the ball and got the ball moving forward and scored efficiently when they're inside 50. But the Giants hit back in that ball movement. We talked about how they're overusing it a little bit, but it was the handballs that connected when they could actually get through that Geelong zone. So plenty of opportunities. Cats had 17 inside 50s, couldn't quite convert for some of the opportunities. But if you're a Giants supporter, you'd be reasonably happy to be back in this game with a couple of late goals and plenty to go for the rest of the game.
Yeah, it's my criticism of the Giants' ball movement is when they start over handballing, and there's probably a couple of players that are serial offenders that are just trying to do too much with it. It's more that too much. Like that last stoppage before, Tom Green, he had a couple of options to give the first easy one, but then he sort of didn't take them and tried to do too much and got himself into trouble. I think Lockie Ash is another one. He just tries to do a lot, way too much with the ball and ends up turning over a lot of times. So they looked a lot better when they owned the ball in that kick mark chain and they worked their way through, because I think Geelong, they do rely heavily on Stewart to be that extra back and force you to go fast and long. And then once you go putting speed and over handball and putting that pressure, they squeeze you and they force you just to kick it long to Stewart. Then they get their attack going. So, look, I think for the Giants, if you're looking at the scoreboard now from what the Cats started, they'd be reasonably happy with that because they haven't played great. And then the Cats, you can just see they're really good at getting numbers at the contest. And then when they're going forward, they're super dangerous down there. So, look, I think this game's going to be played at a frenetic pace, and I think who's going to just make the most of their opportunities when they go forward is probably going to end up winning this.
It's finding that line, isn't it, between frantic and finding a way through, because that's how they are getting through that Geelong zone, by putting the handball, but it's the right handball. It's not just running into the middle, like you said, and throwing one out and hoping someone gets on the end of it. So, working the way through that Geelong zone, and Stewart's been big for the Cats as well, hasn't he, down back? So he's positioning himself well, and how they can work their way through and hit a target inside 50.
Well, that's what I think, whether it's Stringer or Cadman, whoever it is, the Giants have to lower their eyes and go through and make him really accountable and make him be sort of hurt, and don't let Geelong have what they want. And I think that's the main thing. So whether you're going to have a defensive forward on him, or if not, really direct all your attacking traffic through his opponent.
Only one mark inside 50 for the Giants that quarter.
And Jesse Hogan hasn't touched the football. Kicked 7 against them in the win at Cardinia Park earlier on this season, but yet to get involved at quarter time. Cast leading by 13 points. Tom Green with 9 disposals. Leclerc, who we've spoken about, 8 touches, really active down back. Harry Rouston's giving them a bit in the midfield. He's had 8 disposals. For Geelong, Brian Myers with 9 early. Manna and Dempsey with 7, and both with goals in that first term. And Tom Stewart starting to get really busy down back, the loose man with a few intercepts, 7 disposals. Bailey Smith has 7 as well. Let's go down to Declan Byrne.
Just a quick one, a watch on Toby Green. Not sure if it was a re-strapping or a new strapping, but he got some attention at quarter time on his right ankle.
Okay, thank you, Declan. Shout out to Greg in Dalesford, by the way. Enjoying the call from my friend's couch in Dalesford. She's just made me an egg and bacon roll. Big shout out to Terry. Don't think she noticed the earbuds yet. I'm just smiling and nodding. Go Cats. Good on you, Greg. And
the B&E getting it through the game.
It's a bit late in the day for that, isn't it? But I suppose it's never a bad time. Bailey Smith run down by Darcy Jones holding the ball. He had plenty of prior. So the first clearance goes the way of the Cats, but Darcy Jones runs down Bailey Smith. So see if the Giants can go forward of halfway here. After a slow start in the first term, up inside 50, kick too deep for Hogan. Holmes there for the Cats, shares it with Stewart, fires it wide here. They work their way beyond defensive 50 there through Brian Myers. Slap here back to the members wing. Numbers there with the Giants and Lockie Ash to Callaghan. Fires it back to the milestone man Whitfield. Callahan's awkward kick tumbles up in the air and land on the chest of Holmes. No, mark was spilled. Down to Rouston here for the Giants. High snap inside forward 50. Hogan crashes the pack this time. O'Halloran does the crumbing. He tries to centre. His kick was smothered down there by Henry. And now O'Halloran playing tunnel ball. Wins it back here for Darcy Jones. Plays on with a sweeping hand pass to Riccardi. Back to Toby Green. And the skipper pops it through from 15 metres out. Went a long way there, the Giants. But they get the desired result. Toby Green on the board, and they get the first goal of this second term. 3-1-19. The Cats who are 4-2-26. 70 seconds into the second quarter. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Ryan O'Keefe and Joel Patfull.
Because they're not taking marks inside the 50. They're getting very, very creative, but it's a lot of they're working hard to get their goals. So a lot of repeat entries and some really good defence. Like Ali's been rock solid in terms of, as a defender, being able to just sort of lock the ball in their forward 50 there. But that's a great finish. That's a typical Toby Green finish there, isn't it? Just all class.
Yeah, we talk about Jesse Hogan not having a possession, but he's marking it. He's jumping into packs of 3 or 4. He still hasn't had a one-on-one opportunity or a lead up. He's really making it. The Giants are making it hard for him, putting on his head, making him jump into a pack.
Tom Stewart has just limped to the boundary. Declan Byrne will keep a watch on that for us. Cats leading by 7 points, and that's a big concern as the Giants win it in the middle of the ground as well. Rouston with another possession. He's been excellent early. Long into attack. Hogan with the grab. No. Then yes, it's paid. Well, it just spilled out at the last moment, and you wondered if he'd held it for long enough. Umpire said yes. Strong contested mark by Jesse Hogan. His first touch of the football. He'll kick from 35 out, slight angle to the left.
You called it, Joel. His first one-on-one, and he marks it. That's a good opportunity. That's the value of a centre bounce clearance, isn't it? It doesn't allow Geelong to get back and set up that player in front of him gets the one-on-one opportunity, and that's why he's the best key forward in the game at the moment.
So the Cats kick the first 3 goals of the game. Jesse Hogan to bring it back to a 1-point margin. That little stutter in his run-up, and then slots it. Jesse jumps for joy. And the Giants have responded beautifully. Now 4-1-25. Geelong 4-2-26. 3 minutes gone in the second term.
Yeah, it does. It goes to show how important it is if you can isolate Jesse Hogan and get him in a one-on-one situation, because he's so good at it, and he marks it like that was a genuine one-on-one. Marks the ball at the highest point, and interestingly enough, Tom Stewart was on the bench, so there wasn't anyone that could come over and help him out. Gets isolated. Like we talked about, how important that quick kick forward is out of the centre square as well. So
any young key forward, you just got to watch that mark. It's the body work he does. It's the actual timing of the hit he puts into Henry, and then get the hands up so he gets his hands free. He's not in a wrestle where he can't get his hands up. It's beautiful forward craft.
Giants have kicked 3 goals in a row either side of quarter time, and 4 of the past 5 in the game. The Cats lead by a point. 4 minutes played, second term. Restart back in the middle. Briggs and Stanley down to Callaghan. Quick clearance here for the GWS Giants. High ball inside forward 50. Hogan gets set there. Pressure from the Judd. Cats in defence. Towed forward by Bedford. It's set up there in the goal square. And Toby Bedford just stuck out the right boot. And through it goes. Another goal in quick time. And the Giants take the lead for the first time in the game. 5-1-31. Geelong 4-2-26. 4.5 played, second term. More action downstairs. Declan Byrne.
Yeah, so that's 3 goals now with Tom Stewart either off the ground or injured in the process. So he's come off, he's got his right foot or ankle tested. He took his boot off, he was grimacing in pain, but seems there's no serious damage. He's put his boot on, looks like he'll play through it.
That's 3 centre bounce clearances, 3 goals. They're critical to our game. That was beautiful work there, ruck work, and then Finn cut underneath the ruck and got out perfectly. It's very, very valuable, these centre bounces.
Especially with no Tom Stewart down there, you can take full advantage. And the Giants have done that. They lead by 5 points after the Cats kick the first 3 goals of the game. And again, through Tom Green, tapping it forward to Darcy Jones. The Giants win it in the middle. Now back to Kelly with the headband. Throws it on the left, deep into attack. Hogan out to meet it. Spoiled away from him by Jack Henry this time. Bailey Smith gathers it, gets it to Lawson Humphreys. The kick to half forward, set up too much for Max Holmes. And Himmelberg was able to pounce and knock it over the boundary line. Boundary throw in right half forward for the Giants, who have started the second quarter superbly. They lead by 5 points.
Well, they're up and about now. Even now the defenders are just getting their fist in, and so the intensity's up, the confidence is up. So we've got a ball game on, fellas.
Voice of dual premiership winner Ryan O'Keefe on ABC Sport. Back in it comes. In the contest, Stringer down there with Stanley. Both rucks missed it. Tom Green hand pass off the deck there to Halloran with the Giants. Another high ball inside 50. Hogan trying to read the ball now off the his second, third bite, not paid the mark. Umpire was all over him. And then the Cats can clear off half back. On the bounce though, it sits there again for Himmelberg. Shows good pace away from Blitzarves. Himmelberg just thumps it back inside 50 here for the home side. Down to a 2-on-2. And this time that second grab is paid on the intercept. Well here the Cats this time through Connor O'Sullivan.
He's an impressive footballer. Pick 11 from the 2023 draft. Big grab, deep in defence, kicks up to the wing. Blitzavs couldn't take it overhead. Well done by Angwin to dive on the football. It spills 3 though to Myers. Pounced on by Darcy Jones and caught holding the ball. Well done by the kid with the lid. Saw exactly what Myers was trying to do there. Pounced upon him. Got it to Briggs in the middle of the ground. The quick handball to Ash. Now to Kelly at half forward. On that left, goes into the pocket looking for Hogan. Just over his head. Good pressure down there by O'Sullivan, who is starting to make up for the absence of Tom Stewart with a couple of important interventions. Boundary throw in right forward pocket for the Giants, who lead by 5 points.
Twilight fixture. Lights hours are blazing. Started the day in the bright sunshine of the afternoon. Comes a night game here. Down to Stringer, who snaps. Left foot snap from the stoppage. Just trickles through for a minor score. Right-hand side. Giants by 6 points. 7 gone. Second term. Declan Byrne on the boundary for ABC Sport.
Just a quick one. A quirk of the Tom Stewart situation. He's come off limping and grimacing, yet he's just gone back to the bench without testing the ankle. He doesn't look like coming on, but no testing.
Holmes up to the wing. Look for Guthrie, couldn't take the mark, and Angwin gathers it inside the field of play and spots up Stringer in the pocket. Well, that was rather too easy. They left it behind Geelong, and Angwin, who had a good game last week, with a beautiful kick to find Stringer. He'll kick from his second.
It's a value of not emptying it out as a forward. You get a turnover, you get the inside 50 on your own. So look at it up and about the Giants. They're putting really good defensive pressure, and particularly their setup behind the ball. They've been able to turn it over in the front half.
Stringer will go the snap here from 35 out. A couple of steps, no problems. He punches the air. The package has two. The Giants have a 12-point lead, and slowly but surely we are starting to see what Jake Stringer is adding to this forward line. In addition to Cadman, Hogan and Green, it's a dangerous element.
Well, he's a different player to the rest of them, and you can see he's a real confidence player. So now 2 goals for him. He's up and about, and then the previous forward 50 stoppage, he was wrapped around, so he's super dangerous. And now he's got his confidence, a bit of bravado. He's going to be a handful today.
Well, and he doesn't need many opportunities to make it count as well. So you talk about not emptying out the forward line, but it's a bit of smarts. It's like he's 32, 33. He's been there a few times, so he just hangs out the back a little bit if there is a turnover and gets an easy one on the way back. And sometimes that's all you need.
They've kicked 4 goals in a row, the Giants, in this contest. Restart back in the middle. Riccardi in the ruck there with Blitzarves. Towed forward by Riccardi. The famous Geelong name, at least, is Toby Green. Wins the free kick here. The Giant skipper plays off the hand pass. Back to Riccardi. On the angle, he spots up Hogan. Strong lead, strong grab. And he's 40 out on an angle, just slightly left of centre, right of centre.
Geelong have to do something about their clearances. They are getting absolutely smashed in the clearances, and particularly centre bounce clearances. That's what's happened in the game. And what it's doing, it's giving Geelong field position, and they just can't get it out.
Jesse Hogan back in the side from illness and had foot soreness as well. As mentioned, he kicked 7 goals last time these sides met back in round 9 at Enya Park. Started approach from the Coleman medalist. Kicks from 49. It wobbles back. Not quite enough. Minor score for Jesse Hogan. The Giants keep peppering away though. 6-3-39. Geelong a 4-2-26. Earlier the Crows beat the Dogs by 11 points at Docklands.
Geelong just trying to get back into this game under all sorts of pressure. They send it up to the wing, and then Holmes dropped an easy mark overhead. Well, maybe he felt something coming from behind, but that's disappointing from Holmes. Should have taken that mark. Whitfield now to Lockie Ash, just behind centre half forward. Giants up by 13 points. Ash sends it long to the left forward pocket. Cadman will fly off his hands. Stringer's down there. Wrapped up by Humphreys, but Max Holmes is a better player than that, isn't he?
Oh, that's bad. But it's the perceived pressure they've been put under now because of the Giants, the way they're playing.
Ball up inside 50. Toby Green spills it down there to his teammate and Darcy Jones. Ricochets back here towards Blitzarves, who clears for the Cats, but it's intercepted by Cadman. In fact, Whitfield, who's gone to ground underneath all of that, will ball it up, as the mark wasn't quite paid. So a ball up at centre half forward for the Giants, who lead by 13 points. 11 gone second quarter. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Blitzarves tried to dribble it back basketball style to himself. One back here, Humphreys, and now Holmes can rebound quickly for the Cats. Bounces back in the middle of the Sydney Showground. Lecalier wins the contest there on foot. And back here towards Himmelberg, who's run down by close. And the umpire will ball up on that commentary wing. Giants by 13, 6-3 plays 4-2. 12 gone second term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Riccardi and Blitzarves goes straight down to Callaghan. Gets the arms free and then snaps it to centre half forward. Well done there by Zach Guthrie. Evaded a tackle, burst through the middle of the ground, kick long into attack. Alia's underneath it. Shannon Neal floated in front of him. Made a good contest, couldn't take the mark though. Iden, the quick handball to Callaghan in defensive 50. Had some time and space and worked it out wide to Whitfield, who was marked on the paint, left half back. Giants leading by 13 points.
The Giants control things in this second term and through much of the previous quarter as well. Whitfield was all the way back, and now Fonte will switch back to Connor Ryden. Remember to think about the options, but goes very short to Himmelberg at right half back. Swings it back into the corridor. Lecalier is going to be mentioned off contract One of those three names yet to be assigned a new deal. To the outer side, spilled by Angwin, allows Dempsey some room. Cats go back on the overlap now. Simple mark taken by Cameron. A long way from home though. Still well beyond the mark. 85 metres out from goal. A former Giant. Jezza goes very short. Myers wide, back to Dempsey. He's still 70 from goal here for the Cats. Can they find the entry? Desperate to get back in this game and re-find some momentum. Dempsey's high kick inside forward 50. Neil in the contest, but luckily is spoiled. Sees it out of bounds for a throw-in alongside that right behind post at the scoreboard end. So it's a stoppage inside 50 here for Geelong, who trail by 13 points. Declan Byrne on the boundary.
Tom Stewart's been off for 12 minutes. I reckon 6 of them he's been standing at the front of the interchange bench. So he is in through the gates now and back into the game. We'll see how that right ankle holds
No
up.
one challenges Briggs, but he palmed it straight down to Jeremy Cameron. Almost one of the goals of the season. The right foot snap from the right forward pocket. It looked as if it was going through for a moment from Jezza. It just hit the post. That would have been something very, very special. Giants lead by 12 points.
Lockie Whitfield, just the third Giant ever to reach that 250 game milestone. Oh, dicey kick here, which is uncommon for him. Lockie Ash, he's paid the grab as Atkins was coming in late. And the Giants keep possession and a 12-point lead. Ash flares it wide here for Bedford, but again coming late to make the contest and seeing it out of bounds for a throw-in. There's that man in Jack Bowes. So stoppage again for the Cats at left half forward. Try to find their way back into the contest midway through this second quarter. Get to your text at half-time, 0437 774 774. Earlier, the Crows beat the Bulldogs by 11 points at Docklands.
Briggs has front position, but it's tapped down to Stevens of the Cats. Long kick inside 50. Iden punches it away from the contest. It sits up nicely for Fonte in the right back pocket. Sends it up to the wing. Big contest this. Cadman just palmed it down to Darcy Jones. And here goes the kid with the lead. A couple of bounces to half forward. His kick looking for Hogan. The contest means that it spills to Stringer, and he finishes it off. Jake Stringer has 3 goals. And the Giants are out to an 18-point lead. It was electrifying from Darcy Jones. They almost messed it up. But Jake Stringer, everything he touches at the moment seems to turn to gold.
Well, he's got his confidence up, definitely. But he could have kept going, Darcy Jones. I think that option to Hogan, that's where sometimes they're a little bit Jesse Hogan focus. Almost didn't get a result out of it. He could have kept going and just kept going himself, I reckon, and those forwards could have peeled back on him.
He was absolutely screaming for it, Jesse Hogan, so I think he ran as far as he could go without ignoring him. And you're right, though. He is such a big presence that he draws the footy to it. Probably wasn't the right option in the end, but the package front and square absolutely loved that one and celebrated with the crowd too.
I'm going to say it. Packy's going to kick it back today.
Well, he's already got 3.
Well, no, he's up and about. It's going to be super dangerous.
It's a 37-point turnaround from time on in the first term, which the Cats looked in control from the restart. Finn Callahan just soccers it out, no one in particular on the outer side. It's a race on foot to get there. Dempsey, that's their first for the Cats. It runs out of room.
So I wonder what Essendon fans are thinking right now. They're going to take on Jake Stringer next week in this kind of form. And, of course, they're the club that let him leave for GWS.
5-day break for both sides. Of course, the Bombers play against the Tigers at the MCG tonight. Thursday night footy. Docklands for Essendon versus GWS. Back in it comes. Briggs to Tom Green. The Giants on the attack. Callahan busy as well. Takes on Atkins. Almost dacked in the process as the ball goes out of bounds for a throw-in. 7-3 plays 4-3. The Giants lead by 18 points. 17 gone in this second quarter. Said 2 big games coming up. Biggest one's out west in Perth. Freo and Hawthorn. Richmond versus Essendon at the MCG.
Stanley and Briggs. Step down to Callahan, who's been excellent again. Ash is wrapped up by Dempsey. So, ball up. Just forward of the wing in favour of the Cats. The Giants are lead by 18 points. Briggs been excellent in the ruck. He's thrown off this one, though, by Mullen just before he got the handball away. Caught holding the football. Quick handball to Bailey Smith. Long into attack for Geelong, who need the next one badly. Kneels underneath it. Got both hands up. Couldn't reel in the grab. Over the boundary line it goes. We'll have a throw in the right forward pocket for the Cats.
Good crowd in, as we keep saying. It's the first time Cats fans have seen their team play here since 2017 at this ground. So, I mentioned round 1 2020 was a COVID era. There was no crowds. It was our first week of no crowds. Ball comes back in. Himmelberg off to Brown. Cleverly taps on here towards Rouston. Hand pass back to the Irishman. Brown, but he's tackled by Brian Myers out of bounds for a throw-in. So going back to round 15 2017, it was a draw.
That's a long time not to come play the opposition at their home ground.
Well, they played here in 2020, but it's still 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah.
Briggs. Palms are down, but it goes over the boundary line again.
And in that time, how many times have the Giants played at the Cattery?
Well, at least, a handful of times. Where are we?
Played there the last 3 years and won every time they've gone. For 5 in a row in total. 6 of their last 8 they've won against Geelong, the Giants, and they're up by 18 points here, and they've won it at half-back. Lovely kick from Kelly to find Rouston, who is adding a lot to this Giants midfield. Having a very good game today, Harry Rouston, former first-round draft pick, Possession number 12. That's not his best kick of the afternoon. It bounces out in front of Callum Brown, and we'll have a throw-in. But this Giants midfield has been questioned at times in terms of its depth. He's adding something.
Yeah, they've found a few young guys that can go through there, which has been really good. Just shows that the development they've been doing is paying off.
Greater Western Sydney by 18 points. The hand pass of George Stevens was chopped off. Busy footy on the outer side. Umpire says give it to me. So the last 5 occasions, Gideon Park, Manuka, 2022, and Perth Stadium, where they met in a semi-final in 2021. Okay, it comes away from the stoppage. Machine Mullen keeps it moving. High ball towards half forward, but back with the flight. It's marked by Connor Iden, and the Giants can start again from left half back. Just arrived to Kelly. Had the head taped after the earlier blood rule. Callahan busy off half back here as he just swoops his way through. Little 1-2 there with Lockie Ash. Still alive here for Whitfield. Little Shepherd comes as well as Callahan. Goes inside, forward 50. Riccardi waiting for it down there. It's a task down there as well for Henry. Hand pass comes to Rouston, goes off the outside of the boot, hits the post. The Giants creating opportunities, but not quite the finish there from Harry Rouston. They lead by 19 points the home side as we hit time on here in the second quarter. Saturday 40 on ABC Sport.
Could have just hit a drop punt there. He wasn't on much angle. The package was screaming for it too.
Whoa, big grab on the outer side. That is Ollie Dempsey. Got a nice sit on the back of Josh Kelly. Rose up a little bit and took a very good grab.
That's his second one. He's got some hops.
That was impressive by Dempsey. Kicks into the middle of the ground. The Giants win it back. And Bedford is tackled by Myers. And he popped it high, so it'll be a free kick. Bedford moves it quickly onto Fonte. He's turned it over, though, to Jack Martin. Giants leading by 19 points as Martin switches play and finds O'Sullivan. The Dempsey grab, a rare highlight for Geelong in this quarter.
Now Guthrie. Is that Guthrie off half-back? Flares it wide. Out to Martin. Can they get something going here, the Cats? For Jack Henry. It's towards half-forward. Fonte there for the Giants. Still got trouble. Fires it back towards Lockie Ash. He spots some options across the park here, and Rouston goes up, competes with Blitzarves. Out the drop, hot footy. Stevens out after it there for the Cats. Rouston gathers, clean hand pass, back to his skipper in Toby Green. Back to Harry Rouston, full to the wing now. Centering ball, trying to find Stringer. Not quite the finish. Falls down towards Tom Green, who snaps, and he's offline just with the left-hand side. And again, they're peppering away. 7-5-47 the Giants. The Cats are 4-3-27. 22 gone second quarter. Saturday 40 on ABC Sport. Daniel Garb.
Cats under a lot of pressure. Giants up by 20. O'Sullivan up to the wing for Geelong. Dempsey again with the fly. Couldn't bring that one down. Had front position. And again, the Giants win it back in a dangerous area. Brown, the 1-2 with Bedford. Now to Whitfield. He goes deep into attack. Underneath there is Riccardi. Won the contest down to Cadman. Stringer taps it to himself. And again, can he gather it, looking for his fourth? The fourth tap by Stringer, then sockers it off the ground over the boundary line. But he is in the zone, Jake Stringer. He'll have a throw in right forward pocket.
Up and about is Jake Stringer. Look out.
He just needed that to bounce up, didn't he? If that had bounced up, he would have been away. Just at 30, how old is he? 32? Just didn't look after him. He couldn't get off the ground, but they're looking dangerous.
Giants by 20 points, having kicked the last 6 goals in the game and a few behinds as well. Down it comes. Angwin spin through traffic. Up by Holmes, opposite number. And it's holding the ball. A long free kick in their defensive 50. Max Holmes, the tackler, rewarded.
Inside 50s this quarter, 16-4 in favour of the Giants.
Max Holmes, last year's Kaji Greaves medalist. BNF winner at the Cats. Now close. Keeps it moving here towards Mullen, who is paid the mark. Back here now to Brian Myers. Flares it wide. Across to half forward. Jack Martin marks in space. Pops it inside 50. Stevens. Overhead grab. 40 out. Slightly right of centre.
That's some good run by Geelong mids there. That was from that stoppage, and they've worked really, really hard. It's the first look at it they've had this quarter, really, to be able to control possession and a mark inside 50. So I know all goals are important, but this is really, really important to just to get the momentum sort of back on, just stop the Giants' momentum.
It's got one of those names that sounds like he could have played any time in the 50s or 60s. George Stevens, the second game up. From South Warrnambool, comes in, 40 out, it's offline. And the Cats have a behind, just their second score of this second quarter as we approach half-time. 4-4-28 the Cats versus 7-5-47, 24 gone, quarter number 2 on ABC Sport.
Whitfield goes short to Himmelberg. And he just gets the kick away. Up to the wing. Well done, though, by O'Sullivan. The 1-2 with Blitzavs. We're back towards attacking 50 Geelong, but Himmelberg got hands to it. Fonte found some space. We've got Toby Green, who leaps for this on the wing. Couldn't take the mark. Blitzavs tapped it to himself. Now down to Humphreys. The Cats need one badly. They go into attack. Cameron had it punched away from him by Iden, who's doing a really good job on Cameron. Now Manna wrapped up in the tackle. Palm down to Angwin. His kick is high, just outside defensive 50. O'Connor's there. It's a free kick to Geelong as the Cats look to bound away from centre-half back. And O'Connor will take it. Really impressed with Connor Iden's job on Jeremy Cameron so far.
He's almost a perfect matchup, Connor Iden, isn't he? He's agile enough to go with Jeremy Cameron, but he can still jump with him in the air as well.
O'Connor finds Atkins. Here for the Cats. Sets up inside forward 50. Who's their flyer? Only man down there is Callum Brown on the Giants jumper. So they keep this 19-point lead, and the Irishman goes wide to find Whitfield. And they're out of dodge pretty quickly here. Toby Green marks on this members' side of the wing. Down here towards Hogan. Pulls it out the back. Stewart back in the action now for the Cats. Beats Bedford to the football. Sweeping hand pass back here for Humphreys. Geelong now just behind halfway through Blitzarves. Hurries his kick towards the pack. Leckerli gets up there. No mark taken. One down here though towards Sean Manor for the Cats. Pops it inside 50. Dangerfield beaten in the contest with Buckley. Buckley bounds off halfback there. Shares it with Fonte. And the Giants can start again here. Himmelberg does retreat though. Back inside defensive 50 for Whitfield. 19 points is the home side's lead. 26 gone second term.
And the Giants controlling it beautifully. Whitfield to Brown. Now they move it out to Cadman, who marks on the logo and gets moving. To half forward, looking for Stringer. Takes the mark. But he's given away the free kick. It was almost another big Jake Stringer moment. Umpire says he caught Jack Henry high as he fended him off to take that grab. That's an anticlimax.
Let him play.
It's going to come back in his direction though, because Henry's kick has gone straight to Cadman, who's marked it on the wing.
Geelong just cannot get, besides that last shot from Stevens, they keep turning it over. They cannot get the ball out of their back half.
Cadman, Whitfield, now wide to O'Halloran. 65 from goal here for the Giants. Can he find the entry? Hogan's down there, so too is Stringer. Plenty of those prominently white Giants Indigenous Guernseys inside forward 50. Hogan wants it, but a strong towering grab taken by O'Sullivan to intercept at fullback for the Cats.
Such an impressive player, O'Sullivan. One of the favourites for the Rising Star, alongside Levi Ashcroft and Dan Curtin, who's coming home in a very big way. for Adelaide. He was brilliant again for them this afternoon against the Bulldogs. Watch out for him when that count takes place on Brownlow Medal Night this year. Interestingly enough, as the Cats move it across the defensive 50 and now find Blitzavs on the wing. Time ticking down before half-time. They need one badly, Geelong. Blitzavs has close in space, just outside attacking 50. Into the pocket he goes, and Dangerfield's just taken the mark in the field of play. Buckley was appealing to the umpire, saying that was over, that was over. The umpire did have a very good look at it, and it did seem as if Dangerfield marked it. In fact, it's Shannon Neal, my apologies. Neal has marked it just inside the paint, and he'll take the kick from 30 out tight angle.
That looked very over.
Shannon Neal for his second of the game. This is swinging back nicely, and he's worked it through.
Beautiful kick.
That's a wonderful effort from the tightest of angles by Shannon Neal. Giants fans don't like it. They thought that was over, out of bounds on the full. Umpire paid the mark, and after all their dominance in this quarter, the Giants, the lead is only 13 points. Quickly down to Declan Byrne.
A couple of quick things. That was definitely out the field. Umpire went to blow out the full. Looked to the boundary umpire who had his hands down. So they've got a bonus one there. But Jeremy Cameron has been on the physio table for a minute here, getting some attention. He's come down a couple of times here, looking at sort of the left hip and groin.
Showing replays as well of this.
He's almost in the front row, isn't he?
He put the whistle up to his mouth, the boundary umpire, and didn't quite blow it. Oh, field umpire, you're right, yeah.
It's got to be the whole ball, though. It's almost the same as that one last week at the SCG where we thought it was definitely out, and we looked a couple of times and went, there may have been just a millimetre of paint keeping it in, and that's all you need. So Giants fans don't like it.
Giants by 13 points. The Cats have a goal in this second term, though. Finally, Darcy Jones hunts the footy. Can they win the clearance here? The Giants, Whitfield goes in low. Jones lost his footing, tries to slap it forward here, takes on Dempsey. Fonte gets to it first on the logo members' side. Handball comes wide here, back to Himmelberg. Out in space now, O'Halloran to Jones, who's all by himself here. He runs front on there, ball and all with Guthrie, but the Cats can rebound off halfback. It comes back to Dempsey. From halfway, pops it inside 50. Ash back with the flight. Buckley in the contest there with Dangerfield. Down towards half forward here. Towed forward by the Cats to close. Back here to Bailey Smith. Runs into O'Halloran. Just got the hand pass away though. Myers snaps and it just goes the required 15 to Stanley. Handball wide here and the finish from the right forward pocket. Geelong has another goal here through Jack Bowes. And they get two in a hurry before half-time. Very important goals in the context of the game. The Giants by 7 points, 7-5-47. The Cats have kicked those two goals. 6-4-40. We just hit the half-hour mark of quarter number 2 on ABC Sport.
It's a little bit like the first quarter. Geelong dominated, and you look up and it's not that. It's, the Giants were only a couple of goals behind. Now they've kicked a couple of quick goals in a row. It's 7 points, so just shows you've got to play the quarter out. It doesn't matter how much you dominate it, you've got to play it out and not let the opposition get back in. Now the momentum's in Geelong.
Well, two huge goals really, isn't it? It's under 30 seconds left, gets them right back in the game, but Giants haven't been able to get through inside 50 since Tom Stewart came back on as well. It shows how important he is to their structure. And Geelong working their way through. The Giants' defence was so dominant, they could almost get over halfway for such a long period of time, and just a few cracks appearing now.
Giants have won the last 3 against Geelong by an average winning margin of just 5 points. The margin at the moment, 7 points as we get close to half-time. And the Cats have worked it towards centre-half forward. Well done by Fonte. Spun out of trouble, then gave it to Ash under pressure. Got it back to Fonte. Holding the football, he might be, yes. Advantage paid. And they've messed it up, Geelong, because Dangerfield took the quick kick. It's through for a behind. They had to go back and slot that from straight in front. You don't see Patrick Dangerfield make too many mistakes like that, but taking the advantage was not the right decision. Giants lead by 6 points.
And these two sides have played out some classic games in recent times. The Giants have won all of them with those single-figure margins. What a first half of footy this is. Here at the Sydney Showground. Back in it comes from the kick out. Blitzarv's hand pass out of bounds. Deliberate. That right half back here for the Giants. Just 6 points the margin. It's swung either way with 3 or 4 goal bursts. Geelong have some momentum as we approach the major break. Riccardi on the wing members' side, and that will be it in this first half. in the Harbour City. The Giants 7-5-47, Geelong 6-5-41. In some ways, that quarter belonged to Jake Stringer, who added a couple more goals to his tally for 3 all up this afternoon. Singles for Toby Green, Toby Bedford and Callum Brown, as well as Jesse Hogan for the Giants. Meanwhile, for Geelong, Shannon Neal kicked his second goal a short time ago. Singles to Jeremy Cameron, Sean Manor. Jack Bowes also in that second term. Ollie Dempsey on the board for the visitors as well. Margin 6 points here at the Sydney Showground. This is Saturday Footy on ABC Sport, and your experts are Norm Smith medalist Ryan O'Keefe and former Lion and Giant Joel Patfull.
It just shows the momentum swings, and when you get a bit of momentum to capitalise, and both teams have shown they can kick goals quickly in a row. So look, I think the Cats go in at half time and go, geez, that we played pretty bad that quarter, but we're only 6 points down. Like, if we can tidy up a few things and we can sort of start winning some clearances, and particularly around those centre clearances, and give ourselves some field position, we're in this game. So, and then on the contrary, Giants would just look good. They pinned them, they played the game in their half, and then they were turning the Cats over. But again, they start getting that happy handball a little bit, and then they can allow teams to score quickly on them. And I think for them to take that next step as a premiership contender, they've got to stop teams getting that momentum on them. Like, let one goal go in and then just shut it down. Don't let 2s, 3s and 4s get on there so that Geelong get back into the game.
Yeah, you're right. Well, the Cats they didn't have a possession in their forward half for the first 10 minutes of that quarter. The Giants just pinned them in the Giants' forward half. Centre bounce clearance, kept getting it down there and building that pressure. So Giants kicked the 4 goals. But like you said, the Cats are probably lucky to be this close after the Giants were so dominant. It didn't look like they were going to get inside their first 50 for huge portions of that quarter. So to come back and kick those 2 goals was super important. And I have to say, probably a couple of umpiring decisions were really important there as well. The Jake Stringer one at one end, the boundary line at the other end. They're 2 goals either way that could really could have swing the momentum of the game. So some big calls there. But, obviously, close game of footy, a big half coming up for both teams.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be like this. Both teams have got some firepower and they're going to go at it. But it's who's driving the momentum bus. And at the moment, it's in the Cats are in the bus lane.
Cats led by 19 points time on of the first term, and then trailed by 20 midway through that second term. So
there's probably a bit of the Cats' pressure as well around the ball. We talked about how good they were early, dropped off a little bit through the first half of that quarter in the middle, and that allowed the Giants to use the ball and run and carry like we talked about. So found a few gaps in that Geelong team defence, which wasn't there in that first bit of the first quarter. So I think they'll be looking to up their pressure, especially in the centre bounce clearances and around stoppages around the ground.
Yeah, I think both teams are going to go in this half-time break and look at their team defence and about how can we sort of shut down the opposition run-on. So I think both teams are going to be looking at that.
I like to pump up a defender too as well. So Tom Stewart went off for 5 minutes and there was 4 goals kicked and he came back on. I think the Giants might have kicked 1 when he came back on, but obviously hugely important for the Geelong structure and how they set up back there and reading the play and almost setting them up defensively as well. It looked like they lost their structure at one point when he was off the ground. So obviously hugely important and a big key for them if he comes back on in the second half.
0437 774 774. Repeating, by the way, earlier, the Adelaide Crows beat the Bulldogs by 11 points at Docklands. Riley Thilthorpe kicked 6 goals. Aaron Norton kicked 5. Marcus Bontempelli, 37 disposals, and that puts the Crows, or reaffirms them in 3rd spot for now. Massive game coming up later on. Freo v Hawthorn at Perth Stadium. You'll hear that on ABC, on local radio in our AFL markets. Otherwise, you can find a full call of that on the ABC Listen app. Just look for the AFL button. If you want to hear Richmond versus Essendon at the MCG, that's available via the AFL Extra button. Giants by 6 points here. 0437 774 774. Bombers fan here. Stringer can go fly a kite, says Sean in Mount Gambier. No love for the package from Bombers fans, or at least that Bombers fan. Hi team, Fran in Melbourne, enjoying the call. Go GWS, want to hear the victory song, chanting all the way, go Jesse, go Jesse. Big Jesse Hogan fan is Fran. G'day boys, love to see your commentary as we ride our donkeys through the mountains of Pakistan. Go Cats from Henry and Harry. If that's where you are, mate, good luck to you. I hope you're enjoying the mountains of Pakistan, Harry and Henry. Joe the Crow from Canberra, listening to the call on the ABC Listen app. Thanks, gents, for the call. If I can turn your attention to Adelaide, are they contenders or pretenders? I welcome the team's thoughts.
Contenders, definitely. Definitely contenders, and I just think they're the best scoring team in the comp. They got really good balance, and I just probably the consistency in their defence. If they can get that tightened up, I reckon they're the show.
I think they're going to be close. I could see him playing in a prelim, perhaps. I can't see him getting to a grand final.
Crows fans, that's not good enough for the Crows fans. They want to be back there
They
again.
want to win it all.
Oh, I reckon. Richard from Geelong, enjoying the call while watching the TV with no sound. A lot of players seem to be losing their footing. Have the Giants called in the SCG curator? Oh, gee. Well, what we're not going to do, we're not going to listen. Adam Lewis, the SCG curator, gave an impassioned press conference last week in which he spoke of the criticism being very unfair, mostly from Ryan O'Keefe last Friday night.
So what I heard...
You were vocal.
I was, but what I've heard from my sources is they brought in the lights for 22 hours a day to get so the grass would set in.
What did they do that 8 weeks ago?
Exactly right. Exactly right. So a little bit of feedback and the ground was fine.
It was fine last week. It always looks pretty patchy here as well. This is literally a show ring. I think Mason Cox called it a showground for livestock. It does look worse for wear in some parts, but I didn't see as many players slipping over in that second term here anyway. But the Giants do lead here by 6 points at the major break. 7-5-47 plays 6-5-41. Keep your texts coming. 0437 774 774. It's the Giants by 6 points right now. Time for ABC News.
ABC News, good afternoon. I'm William Howard. Police say officers have shot a man at a shopping centre in Sydney's West. The officers were investigating reports of a brawl at Westfield Mount Druitt this afternoon. Police say the man has been taken to hospital. A West Australian woman who found a German backpacker who was missing for 12 days in remote bushland says it is a miracle she came across the stranded tourist. Carolina Vilga is recovering in a Perth hospital after she was found on a remote road more than 400 kilometres northeast of Perth. Police say the 26-year-old survived by drinking water from puddles after abandoning her stranded vehicle more than a week and a half ago. Local station owner Tanya Henley, who found Miss Vilga on a remote road late yesterday, says the young woman is lucky to be alive.
She said it was very, very cold, and it was. It was below zero, -1. It's been very cold up here. It is a miracle. 12 days. I was thinking the worst. I mean, I had hope, but I was fearing the worst.
A federal judge in the US has ordered the Trump administration to halt indiscriminate immigration stops and arrests in 7 Californian counties, including Los Angeles. Immigration advocacy groups filed the lawsuit last week, accusing President Donald Trump's administration of targeting brown-skinned people in Southern California in its ongoing immigration crackdown. The plaintiffs include a US citizen who was held despite showing agents his identification. It comes as a farm worker advocacy group says a person has died from injuries sustained in a fall from a building during an immigration raid on a Californian cannabis farm. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump has verbally lashed out at a reporter during his visit to flood-hit communities in the state of Texas. The reporter asked about the effectiveness of flood alert warnings before the recent flash flooding, which killed at least 120 people. Mr. Trump then fired back at the reporter.
Only a bad person would ask a question like that, to be honest with you. I don't know who you are, but only a very evil person would ask a question like that. I think this has been heroism. It's easy to sit back and say, oh, what could have happened here or there, Maybe we could have done something differently. This was a thing that has never happened before.
A 2-year-old boy has been discharged from hospital after he was struck by an elderly driver in a fatal crash in Melbourne's east on Thursday. The boy and a 60-year-old man were taken to hospital in a serious condition. The man is still critical. A 59-year-old woman died at the scene in Wantirna South. Police say they were hit by a car driven by a 91-year-old woman. 3 boys, 2 aged 12, are due to face a North Queensland court over several alleged incidents involving a stolen car. Joshua McIntosh reports.
Officers say a police car was deliberately rammed by a stolen SUV in the Townsville suburb of Thuringowa Central at around 11 o'clock last night. 2 officers were inside the vehicle at the time but were uninjured. Around 15 minutes later, the same vehicle allegedly intentionally drove at 2 police vehicles in Munding Borough. The SUV and an allegedly stolen hatchback targeted another police vehicle in the suburb of Vincent before the hatchback was stopped. The occupants then fled the scene in the SUV, which was found just before 1 o'clock this morning. 1 13-year-old and 2 12-year-old boys were charged with unlawful use of a motor vehicle. They're due to appear in Townsville Children's Court today.
To sport now, and former top-ranked men's tennis player Novak Djokovic says he'll return to Wimbledon next year following his semi-final defeat to Jannik Sinner. The Italian eased past the physically struggling Djokovic 6-3, 6-3, 6-4 to reach his maiden Wimbledon decider, where he'll face 2-time defending champion Carlos Alcaraz. It's another opportunity loss for Djokovic to claim a 25th major title and his 8th at the All England club. The 38-year-old says it's tough to accept his body is letting him down.
When I'm fresh, when I'm fit, I can still play very good tennis. Playing best of 5, and I reached the final stages. I reached semis of every slam this year, but I have to play or Sinner or Alcaraz, and I feel like I'm going into the match with tank half empty.
An injury-depleted Adelaide has held off the Western Bulldogs to notch an 11-point win in round 18 of the AFL. The final score was the Crows 16-13-109 to the Bulldogs 15-8-98. And you're up to date with the very latest ABC News.
As each day begins,
get the facts you need to stay informed.
Every day, across your day.
Stay with Australia's trusted news source.
All the latest, all verified.
Stay in the know with ABC News.
On ABC TV and ABC iView.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
O'Halloran does the crumbing. He drives to centre. His kick was smothered down there by Henry. And now O'Halloran playing tunnel ball. Wins it back here for Darcy Jones. Plays on with a sweeping hand pass to Riccardi. Back to Toby Green. And the skipper pops it through from 15 metres out. Briggs and Stanley down to Callahan. Quick clearance here for the GWS Giants. High ball inside forward 50. Hogan gets set there. Pressure from the Cats in defence. Towed forward by Bedford. It's set up there in the goal square. And Toby Bedford just stuck out the right boot. And through it goes.
Big contest this. Cadman just palmed it down to Darcy Jones. And here goes the kid with the left. A couple of bounces to half forward. His kick looking for Hogan. The contest means that it spills to Stringer. And he finishes it off. Jake Stringer has 3 goals.
Close. Back here to Bailey Smith. Runs into O'Halloran. Just got the hand pass away though. Myers snaps and it just goes the required 15 to Stanley. Handball wide here and the finish from the right forward pocket. Geelong has another goal here through Jack Bowes.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
They've played out some classic contests in recent times, and this one looks no different halfway through it. The Giants lead Geelong by 6 points here at the Sydney Showground. This is Saturday footy on ABC Sport. You're with Brett Sprigg, Daniel Garb, Ryan O'Keefe, Joel Patfull and Declan Bird here in what is now night time. It began the game in the afternoon sunshine, and now it's dark skies overhead. The last of the sunset just off behind us here on the western side of the ground, and we still have a few things to play out in this game. 2 quarters coming up here. After earlier at Docklands, Adelaide beat the Western Bulldogs by 11 points, 16-13-109 to 15-8-98. And as I mentioned, what happened there with Phil Thorpe kicking 6 goals, Aaron Norton kicking 5, Bontempelli 37 disposals. Afterwards, you mentioned Dan Curtin, Garby. He spoke with our man Ray Chamberlain.
We're down in the victorious Adelaide Crows rooms. I'm here with Dan Curtin, West Australian, drafted across to the Adelaide Crows a couple of years. Dan, congratulations on today's victory, mate. You had a cracking game down back. Tell us how it was.
No, it was, thanks for having me. It was awesome and great to get the win. It was definitely one that we really wanted to, stable in and get the win done. So, really happy.
12 victories so far this season, 5 of the last 6. Bit of momentum. Tell us about confident group.
Yeah, for sure, and more than anything, we're a really tight group. I mean, all the boys love each other and we love hanging out and then, coming to work every week and every game day. So, really close.
Massive crowd turned up today. It's pretty full. I was having a look around and they're up to the top. We were all expecting a cracking game and it was free-flowing back and forth. Bit of pressure then sort of come down to the football. What was the focus coming into today in trying to beat a side that has a great record here under the roof?
I think our biggest thing was, probably what we wanted to focus on was making sure we shut down their short kicking. And I think, a good sign for us if they were doing a few backward handballs and not necessarily coming at us with the uncontested short kicks. So, we really focused on that. And, at times they definitely got the better of us, but I thought more than often not, we shut it down. So
there's definitely a defensive pressure there that we saw throughout the game. I remember a couple of chase down tackles, Alex Neil-Bullen, Chase Jones, Isaac Rankin. So the tackle pressure was clear and obvious for all of us on the outside. Lots spoken about the three-headed monster, and a couple of big boys had a crack today, but Riley Thilthorpe, it was his day out. What's it like when you peel off half-back and you look up and you see the big beard running at you?
Gee whiz, it's really nice because, more often than not he's going to clunk him. He's got the big hands for it. So, no, it's he's a very, very scary opponent. Every pre-season, none of the boys look forward to playing on him, so I'm sure the same thing goes for opposition.
Now, I've got a bit of family that lives in Adelaide. You've come across from WA. How have you found moving into South Australia?
Oh, awesome. Yeah, and especially this year, I've really, really enjoyed it. And, being able to play a few AFL games has been really nice and build a bit of consistency. So, outside of footy, I'm absolutely loving it. And, in terms of being around the club, I'm loving that too.
Well, you talk about playing a few games. You've played 16 games this season. What are you putting that down to?
One, coach is backing me in and giving me a really good shot at it. But then two, just building confidence every week and kind of learning more for the game and getting an understanding of how quick it goes. And especially playing a bit more on the wing, it definitely takes a lot more effort than it does at different levels. So
we've got a huge game coming up Sunday, back at home in front of a full house, I'm sure, against the Gold Coast Suns. They're coming off a victory as well. Any initial thoughts there, mate?
We'll enjoy the win tonight, but come tomorrow, we'll definitely be focusing on that and reviewing last time we versed them and come at them hard.
Dan, you've knocked off another top 8 side today. I'm sure the boys will be super confident. Thanks so much for spending time with us today and congratulations on a great win.
Appreciate it.
Dan Curtin there from the Crows after their 11-point win over the Bulldogs, and that is win number 12 for the year for Adelaide. A reminder, of course, coming up, Freo versus Hawthorn at Perth Stadium with Clint Wheldon and the team. We'll preview that at three-quarter time here, and most of you will hear that on the usual network slate and indeed on the ABC Listen app via the ABC AFL button. Otherwise, a full call of Richmond versus Essendon available on the ABC Listen app. Just look for the AFL Extra button. Just quickly, we also have tonight coverage of Wimbledon available on the ABC Listen app via the ABC Sport button from 10 o'clock Eastern. It's the men's doubles final first up, which features an Aussie, Rinky Hijikata, followed by the women's singles final between Iga Swiatek and Amanda Anisimova. And, of course, tomorrow night, men's final, Sinner versus Alcaraz. We also have, into tomorrow morning, the day-night test in Jamaica. Play starts at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time and goes through until about midday. The third test, and in fact the last test before the Ashes for our Australians. So it's all covered for you via the ABC Listen app.
The likes of Constas and Green to be analysed closely again in terms of their form, especially Constas. Green made that 50 in the last test, which takes a little bit of pressure off him. A question for Ryan O'Keefe and Joel Patfill, our experts. So there are 3 players in the Giants side who, as it stands, look like leaving at the end of the season. Lekalia, Callum Brown and Xavier O'Halloran. Contracts running out at this stage to have not re-signed with all the interest in them. It looks more likely that they leave than not, but that might not necessarily be the case for all 3. Just want to know what it's like inside a dressing room and all that stuff goes on. I mean, do players start to talk about it a lot? Is it something that just doesn't have an influence on things whatsoever? Has it changed over time? How would you sum up a situation like that?
Depends who it is.
Well, I think so. It depends if it's a high-profile player to a certain extent. Obviously, they bring a lot more attention and pressure that comes with that decision. But, I mean, I think players are used to it these days. There's constant conversations with players and managers and contract situations. So it'd definitely be something that's, known and aware that the players are, but I don't think they'd be taking too much notice. It's someone like Lekalia, who's they've been talking about for a little while. It's probably expected that he's probably going to leave, and players are professional enough to deal with that these days.
But also, it doesn't mean they haven't signed yet that they're going to leave. A lot of the contracts and list management, it might take to the end of the season till they sort of see what the list's looking at, what's going on. It could be like Cullen Ward. If he goes, no, I'm actually done, then it creates more room in the cap and all this. So there's so many moving pieces that I just think there's probably a few bits there that they just quite haven't finalised, and I think both parties go, well, let's just wait to the end of the season.
Just a few quick texts, by the way, as well. Hi there, guys. As well as Lockie Whitfield's 250th game, it's also Nick Blossom's 250th night against Essendon. Quite amazing, really, as they were both in the same draft in 2012, and despite all the injuries and time off, etc., they now both celebrate the 250th on the same day. Kind regards from Nick Blossom's very proud auntie in Camden, New South Wales.
Lovely.
Lovely to hear from you. 0437 774 774. Got some Brett Rosebery stats as well, just to mark his 550th game. That'll come up here shortly. The Giants by 6 points. Second half underway. Here's Daniel Garb on ABC Sport.
Stanley with the neat tap down, but shark by Callaghan. The kick to half forward. Contest there between Bedford and Humphreys. Bouncing ball just inside 50 for the Giants. Bedford picks it up. Well done by Holmes, though. Got an important hand through to stop a shot on goal for GWS. Now they clear that area. Bailey Smith held by Callaghan and wins the free kick just behind the wing. Lockie Whitfield has a couple of All-Australians. A lot of talk this week. Nick Loston's been unlucky not to win one.
Holmes darts away from Darcy Jones, bearing him down, goes high inside forward 50. Lekalia up in front of Neil. Takes the mark there for the Giants at half-back. Swings it wide back to Kelly on his preferred left side. Attacking side of the wing, Riccardi plucks it. He goes up for Humphreys, plays on inside forward 50, wants to find Stringer in the pocket, takes on the contest there of Guthrie. Guthrie wins it away here. Hand pass will come through a chain now to O'Connor. Run down by Stringer in the pocket, and he finds the salvation. No, he doesn't. Stringer's tackle is rewarded. It was an incorrect disposal, and the package will go back here for his fourth goal in the opening seconds of this second half.
We like to see that from your small forwards, isn't it? The package, he is hungry tonight. You could see that from a mile away, and I'd back him in from here.
Yep. But that's definitely what you want to see. You want to see forward pressure, particularly by players, senior players like this.
3 first half goals for Jake Stringer. This is a snap which is just, it had no height on it. He just sort of let it duck through there on the goal line, and Connor O'Sullivan came across there to knock it through for a minor score. 7-6-48 the Giants. Geelong at 6-5-41. Early stages, third term. Saturday 40 on ABC Sport.
Didn't quite get the purchase on that. You would have liked Jake Stringer as Stewart goes short to Smith and short again to Myers. Still in defensive 50. That's a dangerous kick, but accurate to Humphreys. Gives it back to Myers. They move off half back now, the Cats. Up to the wing. Near with the big leap. Controlled it down to Dangerfield, who broke away from Aaliyah. Sends it inside 50. Over the head of Dempsey. Coming out to meet it is Iden. I think a really good game. Attack that contest. Connor Iden will have a boundary throw in. Left forward pocket for the Cats. Giants lead by 7 points. Start of the third term down to Declan Byrne.
For the last 5 minutes of the second quarter, Jeremy Cameron was getting a lot of attention on his left groin. He came out and did some kick-to-kick just to test it out. So he'll play on, but he might play a bit deeper.
GWS by 7. Thank you, Declan. Back in it comes. Atkins. Hand pass off here. Manor bursts away from the traffic. High ball towards the top of the goal square. 2-on-2. Thumps across the goal mouth here for a throw-in at right full forward for the Cats. Kicking towards Stadium Australia.
Connor Iden with another big spoil. Received the plaudits from his teammates. Though Sam Taylor, he should be back to take on Essendon next week. Connor Iden having an outstanding game deep in defence. Boundary throw in though, in attack for the Cats. And it's a free kick going the way of the Giants. And to young Joe Fonte, I think. No, it'll be Briggs in the ruck, who had started moving away from that contest, has to come all the way back to get the football. Shares it with Iden, and now Fonte gets his possession to Ash, who wasn't confident about taking that mark in front of Dempsey, so just thumped it towards the boundary line. We'll have a throw in just outside attacking 50 for Geelong.
You talk about Connor Iden, why it's such a good matchup for Jeremy Cameron. He's got the strength to hold him 1-on-1 like we saw then, and he gets the spoil in, but then he's also smart enough with his positioning. He doesn't let him out the back. Jeremy Cameron gets so many of his goals in a quick play out the back. His positioning's been great.
Voice of Joel Patton on ABC Sport. Free kick here for a holding the ball decision, so it will go the way of the Cats and Manor on the other side of the Sydney Showground. Call to play on. Pops it inside 50. Kick was too deep for Cameron. Spoiled away again this time by Iden. At the drop, Kelly back to Ash. The Giants can burst away through Lockie Whitfield. Sweeping hand pass wide here. O'Connor comes across Howson and beats Rouston to the football here as it's come back now. Bailey Smith all the way to the outer side, where it's marked on the outer wing by Brian Myers.
Myers, 16th disposal. Leading ball get up for the Cats. Drives one into attack, but Aliir was well positioned in front of Shannon Neal. Took the defensive mark. Neal just gave a bit of a stare to Myers. Wasn't happy with the delivery. They switch it across defensive 50. Kelly's kick, though, intended for Toby Green, was marked by Stewart, who's not happy with the treatment he received from the Giants captain as he took that mark. In fact, it's Zach Guthrie. There's a fair few long hairs and headbands in the Geelong backline. Well, he caught him high there to Toby Green. You can understand why Guthrie wasn't pleased. He sends us into the pocket, but it's overhit looking for Cameron and out of bounds on the full. Free kick to the Giants.
You might have got a little knee to the head as well on the ground there, Guthrie, from Toby Green. I don't think you're allowed to do that these days, though, aren't you?
You are or not?
You are.
Fonte, who comes across the other side here. Whitfield marks inside the defensive 50. Lockie Ash still bursting by. Room to move, and now he kicks. It was a well-weighted pass there towards Darcy Jones. Forward of halfway here. The Giants surging forward. Riccardi with a big grab. Not paid. Umpire says play on. The Cats have numbers in defence. O'Connor does rebound quickly. Out in space. Dempsey shares it with Smith. Geelong are away again.
Well done by Buckley, though. His best position, took the defensive mark. Riccardi had the sit there. I think Hogan took it off him. Key forwards getting in each other's way. An attack for the Giants. Here's Whitfield. Game 250 went short to Ash. Shannon Neal read it well. But importantly, the Giants win it back. Lecalier try to control it. Geelong regather it, though. Atkins back to Bailey Smith. And now Dangerfield takes the contested mark. Opposed to Fonte in attack. He's been called to play on. He's now caught by Fonte. Shrugs the tackle from a standing start. Has missed near side. Only took half a step off the mark there, Patrick Dangerfield. Sharp call from the umpire. It's a behind, though. Giants lead by 6.
A few un-Patrick Dangerfield-like moments, isn't there? When he played on in the second quarter, played on then again. Just not a little bit off tonight. 3 points.
198th game as a Cat, Patrick Dangerfield. So 352nd overall. As Whitfield goes beyond defensive 50. Spots up Connor Iden, who marks at left half back. Slow start for both sides in this third term, really. Giants by 6 points. This kick skids to the members' side. O'Connor gets there first for Geelong. He evades Toby Green. Comes back in ball with a hand pass to Holmes. And now a little dummy and a shimmy here from Connor O'Sullivan. Still running here was Holmes. Pops it back inside 50 for the Cats. But Buckley again beats Dangerfield with the football. Plays on from half back.
He's having a good game, he's Buckley. They move it out wide to Jones. The Giants defenders standing up in a big way. Darcy Jones to half forward. Finds Callahan. Possession number 17 coming up with a silky left footer. Couple of kicks out from goal. He decides to switch it to the corridor for Whitfield. He loves this area on his left. Not his best kick. Bounced once in front of his intended target, Tom Green. He's wrapped up. We'll have a ball up. A true centre-half forward for the Giants.
He's had a few missed kicks tonight, Lockie Whitfield. It's not his usual silky skills.
20 disposals, but perhaps not connecting with it as well as he usually does.
Right contest. Callahan after it first. And his pocket picked down there by Manor. And now Holmes. Oh, big tackle from Brown this time on Guthrie. This possesses him. And it will be a Giants ball at half forward. Great work from Cal Brown. One of those off-contract Giants you mentioned, Garby.
They just can't get this next kick right this quarter at the moment, the Giants.
Into the corridor here. Blitzarves competes with Hogan. Blitzarves gets the better of him. Shares it with Dempsey. Geelong are away now for Bailey Smith.
Bailey Smith had Darcy Jones bearing down on him, so he backtracks to Dempsey. And now Blitzarves on his left from defensive 50. Up to the wing, Whitfield. All on his own, takes the grab on the logo, out of side. Giants set up beautifully at the moment. Only leading by 6 points, but camping the Cats in. That's a good grab by Angwin. It was caught high by Bailey Smith as he grasped the football. Angwin will run around on his left and bomb this long into attack for the Giants. High ball. Hogan's underneath it. 3 Cats on him. O'Sullivan didn't spoil it as well as he would have liked. Jones is there. Keeps his feet. Darcy Jones! What a great roving goal that is. He just wanted it more than everyone else, kept his eyes on the football and crucially his positioning. finish from close range, and the Giants lead by 12 points.
Well, their connection forward hasn't been quite right this quarter, so they've had to find a way, and that was a great opportunist goal there by Darcy Jones. The speed he does, like, what I love about his game is, about a minute or so before, he's the one that ran super hard to chase down Bailey Smith. So he works really hard both sides of the ball. He's got speed, which is always dangerous for defenders when someone forward like that can put real defensive pressure on. But then he goes forward and look, he's just found a way. He just wanted that ball more than anyone. He had to bounce around like a pinball against a couple of Geelong defenders, and really impressed with this kid. He's a great player.
Voice of Ryan O'Keefe on ABC Sport. Giants by 12 points. What has felt like a seesawing affair at the Sydney Showground. Restart back in the middle. Stanley wins it down. Speaking of off-contract players, Reece Stanley still had a contract for next year at the Cats. Free kick going the way of the Giants and O'Halloran. Xavier O'Halloran goes long down the line here. A few flyers inside 50. Up there O'Sullivan for the Cats in defence. They work it beyond offensive 50. Close, mops up on the wing. Beats Fonty to the football. Kicks towards half forward. Himmelberg's there first though for the Giants. Thinks about bounce and now does so. Shares it with a hand pass off to Lockie Ash. He shows good dash up the outer side. He beats Banner for pace. A second bounce and now a kick inside 50. Hogan comes late in there on Stewart. Hand pass comes to Cadman and he snaps it around the post. The Giants find a goal again. Cal Brown to Aaron Cadman. And they're out by 18 points, the home side. 9-6-60. Geelong, who is 6-6-42. 11 gone, third quarter. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Look, Hogan's not taking the mark like that. I think they're kicking to him too much. But what Jesse Hogan's doing really well, he's just flying and making a contest. There's always one or two defenders that he's drawing extra to him. He just competes, hits the ground, and there's a free giant on the ground.
Yeah, it started from that half-back turnover, isn't it? The Giants' defensive positioning has been really strong this quarter, whether it's Leclerc in the air, Jack Buckley, or that time was Himmelberg, was able to turn it over to half-back. And it's Lockie Ash and Lockie Whitfield as well. We've talked about it a fair bit, but they're so aggressive with their positioning and their ball use, aren't they? Like, sometimes they do mess it up, but then they're back at it and they're having a crack and working their way through.
Cadman knew where the goals were. Threw that on the boot straight away for his first of the afternoon. Giants lead by 18 points. Stevens wins it in the middle of the ground, but his kick goes straight up in the air. Mullen is well held by O'Halloran. Fair shout for holding the ball. Not paid. Well, he had an arm free for a moment there. Did Mullen. Strong tackle by O'Halloran. Ball up. Riccardi down to Whitfield, feigned the handball, then got it to Ash. Giants up by 18 as Ash sends it to half forward. Cadman kicked their last goal, couldn't quite control that. We'll have a boundary throw in left half forward for GWS.
After earlier Sean, the Bombers fan, expressed his disdain for Jake Stringer. Rowan and Maryborough, Victoria. I, for one, love to see Jake happy and playing well. Loved him as a Bulldog and obviously as a Bomber, but didn't deserve his best. Thank you, Rowan. 0437 774 774. Smith, speaking of former Bulldogs. Hand pass back here. It comes to Humphreys and his kick not 15. It's good by Callaghan anyway. The Giants, can they keep possession? Whitfield hand pass back to Kelly. Hoadley inside forward 50. Hogan! Second grab. He clunks it 30 out directly in front.
He's just so good at initiating or getting body contact with his defender, but then getting his hands up. At that time, he could only get one up because I thought Henry was holding him. But he's just the ability to get his hands to the ball.
We talked about it before. He doesn't get stuck in a wrestle, does he? He's able to get space between him and the ball and the opposition, which always helps. Sometimes you get tangled up.
The Coleman medalist trots in here for his potential second goal of the night. Doesn't look all that flash. It's an awkward approach, as it usually is, and it misses to the right-hand side. 19 points, the Giants lead. Julian, by the way, sitting around a dam doing some fishing in Thailand near the Cambodian border, listening to the best call team. Thank you, Julian in Thailand.
Great to have your company. The Giants lead by 19 points. 14 minutes gone in the third term. The Cats work it up to the wing. Nice kick by Jack Martin to find Holmes.
Playing with that boundary, Geelong.
This possession number 11 for Holmes. Hasn't been influential in this one. Himmelberg floated across the contest. Didn't get good purchase on it. So Dempsey pounds to kick inside 50. Well done, the big ruckman Briggs. Bent down low to get that and then clear the area. Kelly couldn't take the mark. Holmes gathers the football. Sends it back into attack. Over the head of the pack. Well gathered by Buckley. And got it to Himmelberg. He's caught though by Manor. And surely caught holding the ball. The umpire says he knocked it out of Himmelberg's hands, did Sean Manor, rather than tackling him. And we'll have a boundary throw in the right forward pocket. Perhaps the Giants got away with that one.
Yeah, I think they did.
Home side by 19 points here at the showground. To Freo Hawthorn, Richmond Essendon next. Most of this Freo Hawthorn. Himmelberg being held. No free kick going the Giants' way as it finds its way out of bounds again. Come quite a cool evening on this Saturday. Declan, what's it like down there on the boundary at the moment, Declan?
Yeah, as soon as that sun goes away, it drops. So it was 17 at the start. It's down below 10.
I've reached for the jacket in the commentary box, so yes, it is.
Soft.
Rather chilly. There's a free kick here, going the way of Geelong, and Brian Myers. Well, it seemed to be something out of nothing. And Myers is one of the more dangerous kicks in the competition, and he will have a go from just inside 50, 45-degree angle to the right.
It just shows the value. You get repeat stoppages. It just builds pressure. And all you need is a mistake from the opposition and you get a shot on goal.
Hogan missed an easy one at the other end. Can Brian Myers make him pay? On that deadly right foot, it curls around superbly and through. He can open a can of soup with that right foot at times, Brian Myers. A superb finisher. The Giants lead by 13 points.
Can you explain that?
Well, his kick is so lethal, he could just slice open a can of soup.
Oh, okay.
So accurate.
All right, we'll never do that one.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, but
it is very different. It reminds me of a Johnny Wilkinson. The old kick comes around, gets a nice arc, and hits it nice and sweet through the middle.
We've got the British and Irish Lions covered as well on ABC Sport on the Listen app.
I was waiting for you to get on that one there, Springer.
Giants by 13 points here. Ron Glenn in Tara, Western Darling Downs, Queensland. I mean, the Cats tragic since Jesus played fullback for Jerusalem, and they have two bogeyman teams, GWS and Freo. I don't know why those two teams are their speed bumps, but I wish they could over this hoodoo. On your Ron Glenn. And let's see, this game still alive, 13 points the way of the home side. This clearance goes the way of the Cats. Stevens to Stanley. Oh, it's spilled by Martin. On the overlap goes Toby Green. He just tumbles it forward here for the Giants. Picked up, though, off half-back by Tom Stewart. Out in space on the wing. 2-on-2. Come off the head there of Himmelberg as he attempted to spoil. Tom Green beats Dempsey to the football. And the Giants win it back here. Himmelberg back to Callum Brown. Bursting by Callahan. Run down there by Mullen. Footy comes loose. The Cats have numbers now. Martin back to Stewart. I'll start again. Slews the kick. Awkward there for close. It goes to Bailey Smith. From the logo. Sends it inside forward to 50. Dangerfield in the contest with Buckley arriving to it. Buckley lays the tackle as it's trying to be kept alive down there. But it goes out of bounds. Was it out on the full?
That was definitely out on the full. Giants players cannot believe that hasn't been paid.
Bose came across there and tried to make something of it. Buckley took him all the way to the boundary line. It's come off full.
Actually off Buckley, yeah.
So that could be the issue.
That's a good spot by the umpire.
Either way, it's going to be a neutral ball situation. A stoppage inside forward 50 for the Cats. So the Giants lead by 13 points here. 18 played in this third quarter. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Geelong now asserting their dominance over the last 10 minutes or so. Here's Dempsey. Atkins cop one high, nothing paid. Ash can't clear the area, marked by Cameron. The quick snap fell straight to Jeremy Cameron. And the former Giants champion, now the leader of the Geelong attack, can have a shot and he'll think about the snap. In fact, he'll now go back for the drop punt from about 45 out on that exact angle.
Another repeat stoppage goal going to come from the Cats. Just the play here before the Giants and they won the ball. They had an opportunity to kick it and get it forward and get into their forward 50, but they chose to overhandball and they turn it over again.
The 9-time leading goal kicker at GWS, Jeremy Cameron, floats this across the face and through for a behind. So it's a clean 2-goal lead now to GWS. 19 minutes gone to the third term, and it was all one-way traffic for a while, and Geelong, as they so often do, just professionally work their way back into the game.
if they can seize the lead again in this third term, the numbers support them hanging on to it. They're 9-0 when leading at three-quarter time in games this year. Fonte evades close, chasing him. Second bounce for Joe Fonte. Now he just scribs that kick down the line. Missed O'Connor. Arrived there for Stewart. The Cats go off half-back. Stevens through traffic. Good vision to find Manor. And he sends it wide here. Whitfield makes a contest. Down there towards Leclerc. Hand pass off half-back now. Callaghan in space. Room to bounce. Now a second on that commentary wing. Third bounce for the flying Finn. Pops on his preferred leftward inside forward. 50. Riccardi! Had eyes all for it. And takes the mark. 40 out. On a tough angle in the left forward pocket.
He was all on his own for an eternity there, Riccardi. He worked hard to get into space. But that's great taking the game on there by Finn Callaghan.
We haven't talked about him much, but he has been the one that's been able to take the ball and break the lines, hasn't he? Run and carry, taking a few bounces. He's been good today.
And he's the one that would generally kick the ball.
So usually Cats fans love seeing a Riccardi kick goals. In the past anyway, he misses left-hand side. 9-8-62 the Giants. Geelong a 7-7-49. We just hit time on here in the third quarter. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
They work it to half-back and Max Holmes. Yes, Peter Riccardi, of course. Used to love his battles with Peter Matera on the wing in those famous Geelong West Coast Grand Finals. Many Cats fans would, of course, like to forget. As Dangerfield has it taken away from him by Buckley and then wins the free kick. Buckley again incensed. The second decision in a row that hasn't gone his way. Giants by 13 points. Dangerfield with a long ball into attack. Neal with the grab. Beats Alier on this occasion. Hasn't been able to have the better of the Giants defender for a while, but that's an excellent grab. And he'll kick this from 20 out straight in front.
He's a big lump of a lad, Neil, isn't he? Just gets, once he gets his big mitts up there, he's hard to spoil against.
We just created that separation, didn't he? Where he's probably a bit too big and strong for Alier. Gave himself a run and jump at the footy, and Aliyah's usually pretty good at closing that gap and jumping through the footy, but just too big and strong, like you said.
It's been a good battle. Neal started well. Aliyah's had the better of him for a while, but that was a very big mark. To cap it off, Shannon Neal. No mistake is made. He's got 3 for the game. And the Giants' lead is back to 7 points. And we are set up for a thriller here at the City Showground. GWS 9-8-62, Geelong 8-7-55. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
You're right, they just keep chipping away, don't they? The Cats, it hasn't been pretty, it hasn't been end-to-end footy, but they've found a way to kick goals, 2 stoppage goals, and now a big mark inside 50. So the Giants just got to be a bit more careful with the ball coming forward. Like you said, bit of overhand ball, that Cats pressures too.
We apologise for this break in coverage and will return with the Grandstand AFL team as soon as possible. Stay up to date with the latest AFL news at abc.net.au/grandstand. Hear from the players, the coaches, check out scores and the broadcast schedule. All at ABC Grandstand Online. We'll return with our coverage shortly. We apologise for this break in coverage and will return with the Grandstand AFL team as soon as possible. Stay up to date with the latest AFL news at abc.net.au/grandstand. Hear from the players, the coaches, check out scores and the broadcast schedule. All at ABC Grandstand Online. We'll return with our coverage shortly.
Toby Green's kick was inch perfect for Cadman, and the music's gone off to signify a Cadman goal a little bit too early. He'll have to go back and take his kick from 40 out straight in front.
That was a critical contested mark there by Toby Green. That was so important. If he didn't take that, there was two extra Geelong players there would have mopped it up and they would have gone back inside 50. So it's critical by Toby Green.
Aaron Cadman for his second goal of the quarter. Straight in front. No problems whatsoever. He gives the fist a little pump. It restores the Giants 13-point margin. Now you can play the tunes, thank you.
If you just leave us briefly, I think our line dropped out just momentarily, but we are back at the Sydney Showground here where the Giants do now have a 13-point lead. So 10-8-68 plays 8-7-55. A second goal for Aaron Cadman. And we're approaching three-quarter time here. You're with Brett Sprigg, Daniel Garb, Declan Byrne, Ryan O'Keefe, Joel Patfull, and Declan, some news from downstairs.
Geelong have activated their sub, a tactical this time, so Ollie Henry is into the game and they've subbed out the second gamer, George Stevens.
Ollie Henry, the Cats sub. Harvey Thomas, as he was against West Coast last week, is the Giants sub, unused as yet. So, 13 points. It was 19 points the Cats' way in the first quarter, as high as 20 in the second term for the home side. Atkins wins the clearance here for Geelong, pops it inside 50. Big pack grab from Himmelberg. He clears out a couple of players like ninepins as Dangerfield hits the deck. Himmelberg plays on. To the outer side of the Sydney Showground. Blitzard swoops on that, though. It was not quite controlled over the boundary line, so it'll be a throw-in.
Dangerfield just the 7 disposals. Jeremy Cameron just the 5. 1 goal. So the two most dangerous forwards for Geelong have been well held by the Giants. They lead by 13 points. Stanley palms that down, opposed to Riccardi, and then Bailey Smith wraps up Lockie Ash. Smith with 19 touches. Lockie Whitfield with 25. Most of them, though, just clearing the defensive area. The leading possession getter on the ground. Here's Ash. Disposal number 21 for him. Gives it to his partner in crime down there in Whitfield. He goes laterally and Lekalier's taken the defensive mark.
Plays on quickly. On the half volley, it's there for Kelly. Iden keeps running. He bounds away off half-back. A couple of bounces here for Connor Iden. London-born, Geelong raised. Wide to Tom Green on the outer side of the ground. Still plenty of time left in this third term. Callum Brown leads up and marks 65 from goal for the Giants. Options are plenty inside forward 50. The Cats have to be strong in defence. Brown's kick up inside 50. Cadman, another big grab. 25 out directly in front.
It was almost a perfect build-up, wasn't it? They were composed and they didn't take any risks. They put it to the top of the goal square. It's probably 50-50 whether, the Geelong was outnumbered there, but Cadman just too strong, and he's that dangerous when he jumps and takes the ball at the highest point. He's almost impossible to play on. We talk about Sam Darcy and how dangerous he is when he takes the ball at the highest point, and that elevation and stretch. He's got a few characteristics there, Cadman.
The second term belonged to Jake Stringer. This third quarter could be Aaron Cadman's. He has his third goal of the night. He's finding his own in this game and in plenty of games this year, season 2025. And that's now a 19-point lead for the Giants. 11-8-74 plays 8-7-55. 28 minutes played in this third quarter. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Your experts, Ryan O'Keefe and Joel Patfull.
And that's the value of their forward line at the moment, the Giants, isn't it? It's, you hold one down and you've got another two that can get up and kick 2s and 3s and 4s. So they've got that potency, a bit like what the Crows have got at the moment. So what I really like about that from the Giants is their build-up. When they're running and they're kicking and using the ball, they're so dangerous. And Connor Iden, he's just having a great game, isn't it? And forget how athletic and the speed he's got. He's dash off half back. He's as fast as anyone.
He's one of the best athletes there at the Giants. He's explosive, but he's got endurance as well.
He's been fantastic. Had the better of Cameron today. We're starting to see this Giants forward line that was discussed in pre-season a fair bit really start to click. Cadman and Stringer with 3 goals apiece this afternoon. As Henry, the sub, that's Ollie Henry with his first possession. Went straight to Himmelberg though at centre half back. He sends it out wide, and here's Iden again. In fact, that's Callum Brown. He kicks deep into attack. Cadman will leap once more. O'Sullivan on this time was able to impact him in the contest. Back to Bowes in the left back pocket. That'll be out of bounds on the full, almost into Rosette. The Giants putting the Cats under a whole bit of pressure. Will win the free kick. It'll be given to Ash just outside attacking 50, right half forward.
Geelong's got nearly every player in their back 50 now. Just put it to the top of the square.
Centering ball to the corridor. A little too deep there for Callum Brown. Slewed away from Toby Green. Cadman on the loose football. Snaps, and there's number 4. And with it, a game-high lead for the Giants. Out by 25 points, 12-8-80, plays 8-7-55. A fourth goal for Aaron Cadman as we hit the half-hour mark here of the third term.
When you're on, you're on. I think he was surprised to land his lap because it wasn't actually directed for him. He was, Lockie Ash was trying to hit Connor Brown there, overcooked it, went over his head and all of a sudden popped up in his lap. And when you're on, you're on.
Well, O'Sullivan has learned a couple of good lessons there, those last two inside 50s. One is don't let your opponent just have a clear jump at the footy. And two is you can't switch off if the ball's in the forward 50, because he was 2 metres off Aaron Cadman, but Cadman just reacted quicker when it did clear that pack, and all you need is like 2 or 3 metres, and he's kicked 2 in 3 minutes, so I'm pretty sure he'll be trying to close that gap and switch on a little bit here.
Goal number 30 for the season for Aaron Cadman. The Giants out to a 25-point lead late in this third term. Cadman has 4 for the quarter. What a game from the former #1 draft pick. The Cats need another one before three-quarter time desperately. Atkins with the clearance into attack for them. Sits up for Blitzavs, just taps it, and then gathers it, gets it to Myers. He goes to centre-half forward. It's marked by Mullen. Time ticking down. Mullen deep into attack. The target is Blitzavs or Stanley. He couldn't take it. Bouncing ball to centre-half back, picked up by Stringer, and now Callaghan just throws it on the boot. That'll suit the Giants. They lead by 25 points. They can just regain their positioning in defence.
Zach Guthrie swings it back here across that half-back line for Tom Stewart. And some pressure there as Riccardi came very late on Myers to give away the free kick.
See, I like that movement from the Giants. They didn't overhandball it. Callaghan just got it going, and then they'll be able to press it and hold them up.
So the Cats with Myers back of the free kick. Back wide again here for Connor O'Sullivan. Around 2 rising star Nom. Out in space here now, Oisin Mullen. Funks them inside forward 50. Can they get one before three-quarter time? Spoiled away down there by Iden, and now it's Jones's kick which slides out of bounds off a few bounces for a throw-in. Coventry side of the Sydney Showground. The home side here leads by 25 points. It's 12-8, plays 8-7.
A chance for maybe a very quick kick by the Cats to get this inside 50. To take a mark before three-quarter time. Stringer will gather the football. And the Giants fans love that term. It was lit up by one man. That's Aaron Cadman. 4 goals for the quarter. The Giants lead by 25 points. And they are starting to click nicely in the second half of this season. Geelong with a lot of work to do to avoid another defeat. The GWS.
A game high 4 goals for Aaron Cadman, 3 for Stringer, singles to Hogan, Brown, Jones, Bedford and Toby Green. Meanwhile for the Cats, Shannon Neal has 3 goals. Singles for Cameron, Myers, Bowes and Dempsey, as well as Manor. Their sub was made in that third term, so George Stevens subbed out. Ollie Henry, the sub, coming into the action a very short time ago. Can the Giants keep this winning run against the Cats, going lead by 25 points at the final change? This is ABC Sport, ABC Radio, News Radio and the ABC Listen app. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
There are 3 warning levels across Australia: advice, watch and act and emergency. To learn more, go to the ABC Emergency website and stay listening to your emergency broadcaster, ABC Radio.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Long into attack for the Giants. High ball. Hogan's underneath it. 3 Cats on him. O'Sullivan didn't spoil it as well as he would have liked. Jones is there. Keeps his feet. Darcy Jones! What a great roving goal that is.
Lockie Ash, he shows good dash up the outer side. He beats Banner for pace. A second bounce, and now a kick inside 50. Hogan comes late in there on Stewart. Hand pass comes to Cadman, and he snaps it around the post. The Giants find a goal again.
Free kick here, going the way of Geelong, and Brian Myers. Hogan missed an easy one at the other end. Can Brian Myers make him pay? On that deadly right foot, it curls around superbly and through.
Centering ball to the corridor. A little too deep there for Callum Brown. Slewed away from Toby Green. Cadman on the loose football. Snaps, and there's number 4. And with it, a game-high lead for the Giants.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Western Sydney by 25 points here at the Showground. Earlier at Docklands, Adelaide beat the Bulldogs by 11 points. Now, if, like Nick Vlosten's auntie, you want to hear a full call of Richmond versus Essendon at the MCG, you can do that via the ABC Listen app. Just look for the AFL Extra button there. While the rest of us head to Perth for a real blockbuster. Fremantle versus Hawthorn. Clint Wilden, hello to you.
Hello to you, Red Sprig. It certainly is. The Hawks for the win here in the West can move into a spot in the top four. The Dockers, who dropped out of the 8 after their loss to Sydney last week, hoping to move back into those finals placings. This is an enormous game. When they met last year, it was James Sicily's move forward that proved the difference. The captain for the Hawks kicked 3, helped snatch the win off Fremantle. Will we see something similar today? The Dockers, mind you, they are without their captain and one of their key defenders, Alex Pearce, out with injury again, while the Hawks, fascinatingly, will bring back Finn McGuinness, his first game since round 13. Will they send him straight to Caleb Sarong, who was tagged so effectively by Sydney last week and the Saints the week before? Last week, Sarong had just 11 disposals, his lowest since his third game back in 2020. Is that the reason why McGuinness comes back for the Hawks? And how will Lloyd Meek do up against the 2-ruck prong attack from Fremantle? I speak of Jackson and Darcy. A lot to look forward to, all coming up here in about an hour and a bit. Peter Bell, Cara Antonio, our experts, Mitch Turner, will join us in commentary. It's a huge one, Spriggy.
It's massive, Clint. Thank you so much, and we'll get you there as soon as we're done here in our post-game wash-up at the Sydney Showground. Freo versus Hawthorn at Perth Stadium. Massive game for both sides there. Meanwhile, our experts here in Sydney are All Smith medalist Ryan O'Keefe and former Lion and Giant Joel Patfull.
The Giants are they're just dominating in patches, and their key forwards are really taking this game apart. They have been in this position before. We have seen it where they've been a lead and they've let teams run. So what I'd like to see the Giants not concede is consecutive goals against. I think if they're going to really be a team that's going to push deep in the finals, they can't allow the opposition to get momentum, 2 and 3 goals against them and get their tail up. So look, the way the Giants are playing, they should win this game, but I think they just can't let the opposition get in. So I like the way how they're moving the ball by foot and mark a lot better rather than that sort of kamikaze handball style.
Yeah, the Cats are going to get their chances, though. They're 44, 45, inside 50, so pretty tight there. We know they're moving the ball pretty well. It's probably their forwards, how they can convert. They've only kicked 8 goals from those inside 50s, and the Giants actually they've got the best accuracy at home. We know they kick well. Opposition teams struggle to kick goals here as well for whatever reason. So they'll be looking for Dangerfield, Cameron, guys like that to get involved. They're such a low possession count for both of those guys, so they need to get involved and kick a winning scores. But like you said, there's going to be opportunities. They're going to get momentum at some stage. It's whether they can capitalise and put on 2 or 3 goals quickly to close this gap.
Yeah, look, I think the Giants, that back half of that quarter, just really, I think, is the blueprint of how they play. Look, they have been defending really well. The defenders like Himmelberg and Connor Iden have been doing a really, really good job down there. But I just think if they just cough it up and turn it over, Geelong, they're being instructed, let's just go, we're going to win this game, so they're going to take it on. So you just can't cough up these bad turnovers, which are really hard to defend behind.
Just quickly on Brett Rosebery, who's umpiring his 450th game today. It's actually the first time an umpire has achieved that milestone, as he is the existing umpire games record holder. So his game number 550, he's umpired 9 grand finals, of course, from WA originally, and he's one of our 4 officials here at the Sydney Showground. Shares a milestone with Lachie Whitfield. Final term underway. The Giants lead by 25 points. How do the Cats respond against this hoodoo team? There's the restart. Stanley opposed to Briggs. Callaghan gets there first for the Giants. Sockers to advantage. Only goes as far as Stewart on the overlap, though, as Stewart ducks the tackle. Hand pass picked off. Straight back to Callum Brown. High kick up in the air. Top of the goal square. Waiting back there is Henry, who marks for the Cats. Marked out there by Jack Henry at full back.
The Giants have used that centre bounce play 5 or 6 times, and Cats haven't stopped it.
Henry looks for Blitzabs, who played on and was caught by Kelly. Has O'Connor in support, though. He works it up to the wing. Neil out to meet it. Didn't grab the football. Halloran tried to. Eventually Tom Green gets hands on it. Back to Whitfield. He's got a man free in the middle of the ground. That's Finn Callaghan, and that's dangerous for Geelong. With his silky skill, sends it out to half forward. Great grab by Cadman. Confidence easing through him into the pocket. Stewart cuts across and punches it over. Boundary throw in left forward pocket for GWS, but Cadman is in rare form at the moment. 4 goals in that third term, a major reason why the Giants lead by 25 points.
Centre clearance 16-7 for the Giants as well, just getting that ball in the forward half and keeping it there.
Home side by 25 points, splits halves, uncontested in the ruck. As Briggs was nowhere, it comes here towards Stringer, who tumbles it towards the square, but it's picked off down there by Connor O'Sullivan. So again, the Cats can move the football from fullback. Under some pressure here again is Jack Henry. Hurries it beyond defensive 50. Neal in the contest. Reaching for it, couldn't get there. Callahan first, hands again for the Giants. Kick inside 50, a little too deep for Toby Green. Picked up by Bedford. Back to Kieran Briggs. His kick was snapped across his body. Didn't go the required 15. Yes, it did, said the umpire. So Cadman takes a chest mark, 50 out, top of the arc. That's a very generous 15 metres here for the Giants.
He sort of pulled his kick deliberately too. I thought he was going to whack it to the top of the square, but he kicked it over his head, and I don't know, when a player's on fire, get it to him.
By the way, Aaron Cadman with his 4 goals so far, now going for his 5th. He'll surpass last year's tally of 30 goals, so it'll be a career best year in number as well, still with a fair chunk of the season left. The left footer strikes it from 52 and rides it all the way home. Good start for the Giants in this final term. They extend their lead out past 5 goals. 86 plays 55. 3 minutes gone, 4th quarter. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Ryan O'Keefe and Joel Patfull.
He absolutely struck that like a match, Garbs. Absolutely beautiful.
I've heard that one before.
I know. We all know what that one means.
Well, I've added a new one to the repertoire.
Yeah, okay. I might use it. But that's a beautiful kick. Just lovely. He's got a lovely style about him. He just effortlessly, biomechanically perfect. He just goes bang. Like, what a game.
Well, what I like about that is the confidence. He's 50 out, he's kicked 4, and he's just like, you know what, I'm just going to go back and slot this. And it's one thing that he actually struggled with a little bit earlier in his career was his goal kicking. So he's obviously gone away, done the work, and you can tell by the way he's hitting it that he's that confident with the way he's performing. So good on him.
If the Giants do this wraparound under Briggs again, Geelong really, they're almost off again.
He was looking for O'Halloran. Here's Bailey Smith. Cadman's kicked the last 4 of the game as Smith goes to centre half forward. Marked by Lockie Ash. And he's got 5 for the afternoon, does Cadman. Ash short to Whitfield. They traded up for him a few years ago. They wanted the number 1 pick to snare him. They've given him time. By his own admission, they played me a lot of times. I didn't deserve a game, said Aaron Cadman. But it is paying off now in spades. They lead by 31 points. Kelly on the wing. Kicks to half forward. Well done by Humphrey. Showed courage to get in front of Hogan and take a mark just inside defensive 50. Geelong need to get a move on now. This one is slipping away from them.
Short kick to grind Myers. Was it 15? No, it wasn't. And there was a run down there by Stringer. He knew there was no call from the umpire. Stringer arrived to him. I think the umpires felt sorry for the Cat because he said, we'll throw it up.
Yeah, but you can't make a decision on how you feel. It's either holding the ball or not.
Up it goes. Blitzars. Toby Green crashes the pack as well. Tom Green dives in. And again, the umpire can't split them. 13-8-86 plays 8-7-55. 4.5 played final term. Saturday footy, ABC Sport. What a game this is.
O'Halloran tried to do the roving. Atkins did well to break free of Toby Green's tackle and get it to Bailey Smith to clear defensive 50, but Buckley with a strong grab. He's been one of several Giants defenders to star this afternoon. Beat Dangerfield in that contest. Buckley, Aaliyah, Iden, Himmelberg. It's been fantastic. All in the absence of Sam Taylor, of course. The kick to half forward. Well done, Hogan. Struggled that one, couldn't quite take the mark. Got it to Whitfield, though. Just outside attacking 50, the handball to Stringer. Kept the hands free. Got it to Tom Green. He will finish it off. No! Just misses. He loves that area, Tom Green. Kicked a number of his goals this season from there. The snap, about 35 out. That one just to behind. 32 points the Giants lead by.
So we're going to get a look at the Giants, whether they can play that style of footy now to hold on. They're 30 points up. Still a lot of time left. How do they play and stop, Can they stop momentum? Can they kick a goal? Can they win this by 10 goals? Or do they let the Geelong Cats back into it, which is such a big part of their finals campaign last year? We can see if they've learnt the lesson.
Ball out of play on the outer side. Declan Byrne on the boundary.
And they've got the luxury as well. Basically, the only injury concern they've had this game is that Josh Kelly cut. So Harvey Thomas still the unused sub. Do they rest someone?
And it comes. Blitzarves out after it here. The hand pass away as Manor was pulled off the footy. Trickles out here again to Ollie Henry. That was the Cat sub. And the action in the third term. Dempsey under the high ball. It's back here. They get a good surge going inside 50, and Shannon Neal takes the mark. 30 out directly in front.
Lee was all lost at sea there. Had no idea where Neal was.
Good little run of form here. Kicked 3 goals against Richmond last week. Shannon Neal lining up here for his 4th. Now, the context of the game, a very important kick. The Cats must make every opportunity. Neal on the approach, scoreboard, and straight as you like. Didn't Geelong need that? Their first major of this final term. They closed the gap to 26 points, 13,987 to 9,761. 7 gone, quarter number 4. Saturday footy on ABC Sport with Joel Patfull and Ryan O'Keefe.
The toughest part about being a defender is we've all talked to you about how well Ali's played, and he has played very well. Neil's now kicked his 4th goal. So, so how do you toss that up? How attacking are you? When do you have to lock down? When do you have to defend? So just a thing that he'll learn being a young player. Talk about his positioning. He just got lost at sea, watched the ball there, and Neil snuck out the back. So, you know, and like we just talked about then, whether the Giants will let John back into this game. First goal is probably the easiest transition they've had for a while.
Yeah, definitely.
Neil with 4 goals, all while Jeremy Cameron's had just the 5 disposals for just 1 goal. Has that a bit of an injury concern? You wonder if they need to throw him on ball, Jeremy Cameron, just to get him in this game. And here they go away again. From the middle of the ground, the Giants. Briggs to O'Halloran into the pocket. Riccardi has it spoiled away from him by Jack Henry. They are doing it far too easily, Ryan O'Keefe, the Giants, out of the middle.
Hey, I don't know who's the midfield coach, but they have done that centre bounce play all day, and Geelong haven't stopped it. Like, you know exactly what they're doing. You've got to set up for it.
Yep. Callahan and O'Halloran have just run underneath Briggs, who's tapped it to their advantage, and away they go. Briggs wins the tap again, inside 50, and Toby Green wins the free kick.
Yeah, that was definitely there.
He was dragged down without the football, and the Giants captain will kick from 30 out, very slight angle, to try and restore a 5-goal lead.
So what's that, 17-6 centre bounce clearances? Like, do something about it.
This would make it 32 points if Toby Green can kick this. Just the 1 goal for the afternoon for the Giants captain. Worked really hard, opposed to Mark O'Connor. This would be a captain's major. And Toby Green provides it, as he so often does, for his 2nd goal of the game. Giants with the instant reply to Shannon Neal's 4th goal, back out to a 32-point margin.
And that's what we've asked for the Giants if they're going to be finals contenders. Geelong get a goal, go back, we win the centre bounce, we have a shot on goal, bang, momentum stopped, it's back in the momentum's back on our bus. So it's really, really, mature way. And I like the way that the Giants are playing a lot more direct and going forward. So that's another thing. They're going to keep going forward. You can own possession and play that kick mark, but keep going forward and taking territory.
The centre bounce has been crucial, though, hasn't it? Oh. You can't win too many games of footy when you're starting from your back 50. No. You know, 17-8 at the moment. So you're a long way back start from your back 50.
Geelong's brought a player now around the centre bounce to stop that underneath cut.
Saturday night disco here, by the way. The showground with LED lights and the music blaring. The Giants having party time so far. The clearance though, Blitzarves just to bustle his way through. Hand pass back here to Oisin Mullen. Blitzarves goes again. He was pushed off the kick late. It's going to come back here for a Geelong free kick. In the way of Bailey Smith, back to his fell behind play.
And that's better, Geelong. They blocked that cut under, and then they've made it a scrap, and they've won the centre bounce clearance.
Smith averaging 32 disposals in the league this year. Leads the comp in that category. Angwin back with a flight. Good contest there with Jack Martin. It's off-handed for a throw-in on the right half forward for the Cats. They trail by 32 points, 11 gone, final term. They must make every entry a winner, Geelong. Umpire tosses it back in. Briggs competes with Blitzards. Holmes kick smothered by Angwin. Goes again, does Holmes. Briggs slays the tackle on him and it's locked in again for a ball up. 60 out from Geelong's goal.
Good tackle by Briggs. He's had a good game. Adam Kingsley's put him under pressure. Threatened to keep Nick Madden in the team. Briggs has done everything to keep his place. Angwin with a strong tackle on Manor, and that is holding the football. At half-back for the Giants. Well done by Angwin. Another one who's starting to take the chance that's been afforded to him by the Giants coach. Strong tackle on Manor as he tried to work his way free for a shot and goal. Here's Lockie Ash in front of his own defensive goal square. Draws a player, then handballs over the top to Buckley. He sends it up to the wing. Humphries is there. Cadman just keeps it in. Everything he does right now is pure. Handball to Darcy Jones, and then Riccardi spent it before he had it. That allowed Jack Henry to come away with it. Kick to half forward. Angwin with another good defensive intervention. The spoil at half back. Callahan's there, wins it opposed to Manor and gets it to Rouston.
Rouston points his kick to the outer side where he finds Callum Brown forward of halfway. The Giants are surging again. His kick will actually now to find Riccardi on that front point of the square. It's going to be 50 as there was a slight overstep down there on that Jake Riccardi ball, so he's going to come inside 50 and that could prove costly. I think it was Myers who came in. I didn't see Myers at the naked eye encroaching, but either way it brings Jake Riccardi directly in front. He'll kick from 15 metres out. Lining up for just his first goal of the night. Jake Riccardi, but there you go. It'll put the game beyond doubt for the Giants. If there was any doubt, they're up by 38 points now in this final term. 15-9-99 plays 9-7-61. They'll reach three figures for a fourth game in a row, which is, I know we do see a high scoring 40 in modern times, but the Giants have had their attack sinking. Ryan O'Keefe and Joel Patfull, and that's testament to that.
I just reckon tonight's been a really mature game by the Giants, the way they've played. That first quarter, Geelong came out firing and trying to flex their muscle, but since quarter time, the Giants have just played a really good brand of football. They've been really strong in their backs, and obviously they've got potency up forward, and their centre bounce clearance and their general clearance work's been fantastic. It's been a really all-round balanced game tonight against a really good opposition.
They've found ways to score without relying on Jesse Hogan as well, which they have in the past, which has been really impressive.
Just the one goal for Hogan, 5 for Cadman, 3 for Stringer. The Giants making a statement in the second half of a season again. As Mullen sends it to centre half forward for the Cats. Here's Ash, gets it to Wyden, who's been brilliant. Out to the wing, looking for Toby Green. Stewart with him. Bowes gathers it. Well tackled by Bedford. We'll have a ball up in front of the interchange gates. The Giants 59-99. Geelong 9-7-61. They make a habit of this, of just hitting their stride in the second half of the season. This will be 4 wins out of their last 5 games if they can cap it off, and they are looking ever so dangerous as we get closer to finals.
Giants by 38 points here. Bowes tackled ball and all by Bedford, who receives the free kick.
Both Bedford and Darcy Jones are just great players. They've got speed, they can play in the midfield, they can go forward. They're 2 underrated weapons the Giants have.
Bedford thumps it deep to a 2-on-2. Reaching for it, Hogan did well. He's at right half forward, still 70 from goal here for the Giants. Cadman's back begging towards the square. He's got some company though there in O'Sullivan. Hogan just sets it up. Oh, it's a wobbly ball. Spirals toward the pocket. Stringer almost falls in his lap. Toby Green's unmanned. Goes the fend there on Zach Guthrie, and he's wrapped up. The umpire says, give it to me. In fact, it's going to be a free kick going Geelong's way. So that tackle of Guthrie rewarded. He goes back to find Stewart. Home side leads here by 38 points. 15 goal in final term.
Stewart finds Humphreys. He takes a nice mark opposed to Cadman at right half back. Finds Guthrie. Short to O'Sullivan. Gives it back to Guthrie at centre half back. The kick looks for Bowes. It's a little bit wayward, but sits up nicely for him on the wing. Handball over the top from Myers. Possession number 21 for him. Well corralled by Ash. So back to Bowes and now to Jack Martin. To half forward, he finds Atkins, the number one tackler in the competition, Tom Atkins. Plays on quickly. Long ball into attack. Punched away from Blitzav. Sits up nicely for Tom Green. And here they go again. This could be Orange Tsunami stuff. Green finds Darcy Jones.
Weaves away through traffic and now kicks on the angle, but he only finds the man sliding into mark in Jack Henry. Back to Tom Stewart. Down the corridor he goes, Atkins. Holmes on the end of it now at centre half forward. Fires from 55 and it's through. In the end, Dangerfield saw it coming and guarded it through. So Holmes gets the goal and Geelong pull one back. It's a margin of 32 points. 16 minutes played in this final term. 15-9-99 plays 10-7-67. We're off to Fremantle and Hawthorn at Perth Stadium next after our post-game wrap-up here. Otherwise, you can hear Richmond versus Essendon via the ABC Listen app from the MCG.
It just shows how critical turnovers are. They were out there in the Giants, and Darcy Jones' kick missed Hogan by a fair bit, and then it goes back. That's just shows how critical turnovers, and particularly turnovers off halfback when it's a bit of speed in the ball, it's just really, really hard to defend against.
So Holmes has been a little bit quiet this afternoon, just the 15 disposals, but that was a nice long-range goal. Just gives the Cats a pulse. 32 points down, though. They need a few more to follow that one. Here's Atkins. He's been busy of late. Wins it in the middle of the ground. Gets it to Mullen. He'll go long into attack. Can they find another one, Geelong? Iden right with Cameron again, as he has been all afternoon. Cameron barely sighted, and then Dempsey's handball goes over the boundary line, thrown in the forward pocket, and he's slow to get to his feet. Jeremy Cameron, 427 goals for the Giants, still the leading goal kicker at GWS, but it's been one of his quieter afternoons on this ground.
How far away is Toby on that leaderboard?
Only 23 off him now after his 2 goals today. The closing.
He's not getting there this year, at least. Free kick here going the Giants' way for a high tackle. Finn Callahan to take it. Still as we approach time on in the final term. He goes wide. Find Callum Brown. Left half back. Out in space. Lockie Ash on the end of it. 29 touches against West Coast last week. That's his season average, Lockie Ash. 29 disposals. Call to play on now. The Giants control the game. Ash's kick, high inside 50. Cadman wants to sit early and gives away the free kick. No, it's going to be a free kick going the Giants' way.
He got pushed out.
So Cadman was pushed, and he's going to go back here. This will test his distance for goal number 6.
I don't know. After that last kick, he did it with it.
Kicking from the left-hand side of the field too. So not his preferred angle, but he's going back and put the mouth guard in the socks.
He's got the journey.
This would be for a career best 6 goals.
He's well and truly arrived this year, Aaron Cadman. On the approach, kicks from 53. It's on its way. It curves back beautifully. A career night for Aaron Cadman with half a dozen. And the Giants are out again by 38 points as we approach time on in the final turn.
He just went back, Sprigger, took out the 1 wood and just went bang. That was a beautiful, beautiful kick.
He followed it in as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
As soon as it left the boot, he was confident that was going through, but it's good to see a full flight 50-metre set shot at goal. But you just see the Geelong defender there is just getting a bit nervous after he took a few big pack marks in that third quarter, and that's all it takes sometimes, put the pressure on and then a bit over-excessive with the body movement. So you can see what he was trying to do. He's trying to put body on Cadman so he can't jump and get at the highest point, but you can't be so forceful to push him through the contest and not allow him to jump at all. So,
and I've just been watching Cadman off the ball. He's on the move. He's not stationary. He's not letting his defender get set on him, which is really really important for a forward.
And he got a standing ovation from a number of the Giants fans, Aaron Cadman, as he came to the bench. 6 goals to his name, and all of them in the second half to literally break this game open. There's Bailey Smith. He's tried hard as he always does. Atkins slips over in the middle of the ground. Puts it back to Smith. Coming out to meet it was Henry. Wrapped up well by Darcy Jones. That's Ollie Henry. Honours the sub. Alia tries to win it at half-back for the Giants. It's gathered by Blitzabs. He's well tackled. And we'll have a ball up just inside attacking 50 for Geelong, who trail by 38 points. Once more, the Giants' ascendancy over the Cats set to continue, having won 6 of their last 8 as Tom Green throws it on the boot. That's against Geelong, of course, and Stringer taps it to himself a couple of times, and a third time, and then slips over. And he gives away the free kick.
Come on.
He legged Tom Stewart. For a second there, we thought this could be goal of the season if he'd gathered it and run on, but just couldn't quite keep his footing, the package.
Tom Stewart, centre-half back for the Cats. Drives it toward the outer side. 2-on-2 contest. One way here. Callum Brown reaching for it. There's the tackle. Into the back solidly of Jack Martin. A little too much, said the umpire. So it's a free kick for a push in the back. Martin lays off the hand pass to Smith, bursting by. Sends it inside 50 here and reaching for it. Stanley tries to get at ground level. Can't get there. Myers turns and snaps back towards goal. Close marks in the right forward pocket. 20 metres out. He'll have a set shot from there. Very quickly, Declan Byrne on the boundary.
Harvey Thomas has been like a little brother wanting to get out there. Finally, they've let him on. They've subbed off Jesse Hogan. Looks tactical. Harvey Thomas about to come on.
Just the 1 goal for Jesse Hogan, 1 goal for Jake Riccardi, 3 impactful goals for Jake Stringer in the first half, but none in the second half. It's been Aaron Cadman's night. Meanwhile, Brad Close goes to check side from the pocket. That's beautiful. Might be too little too late for Geelong, but Brad Close has a goal and the margin is back to 32 points. The Giants are 16,905, 11,773 is Geelong. 22 and a half played in the final quarter on ABC Sport with Joel Patfull and Ryan O'Keefe.
Look, there's still 6.5 minutes left, so again, the Giants need to play this out because we know how potent Geelong are. Like I said, all you need is Jez Cameron to get going and kick a couple. We know Patrick Dangerfield's super dangerous, so they've got potency, Geelong. So you just can't let them. You just can't take your foot off.
Well, they've been so good defensively as well. So I mean, there's not much you can do about that. Check side from the boundary, you probably take that, but it would be 100% would be a focus on how they're finishing out their games, especially coming into this back end of the year. Like we said, it was such a big focus for them in the finals. Obviously, they let 2 big leads go down, so they will be adamant to run this one out to the end.
They lead by 32 points, and they've got the luxury of subbing Jesse Hogan off. Just resting that sore foot a little bit more. Cadman kicking 6 goals. There's Whitfield coming off half-back in game 250, sends it up to half-forward. Bedford taps it, keeps it in. One, though, by O'Sullivan. Gets it to Blitzavs. Looking for Close, who just guided it down, but Briggs, the big man, gets down low. Well done, Ruckman, to win that at ground level and then find Lockie Ash. He breaks the tackle and kicks to half-forward. Cadman, the target, controls it beautifully and then takes the mark. What a game he's having, Aaron Cadman. O'Sullivan threw everything at him in that contest. Put up the one hand, brought it down, 6 goals to his name. And now marking everything in sight.
Aaron Cadman on that preferred left peg, drives it long inside 50, reaching up down there. Brown at the roving there is Stringer, who sends it through for his 4th. Don't forget me, says the package. And the Giants, again, move out to a 38-point buffer. 17 on 111, plays 11-7-73. 24 gone, final term. Saturday footy here on ABC Sport with Fremantle and Hawthorn coming up next from Perth Stadium, or Richmond versus Essendon, available for you from the MCG on the ABC Listen app. Just look for the AFL Extra button. Ryan O'Keefe and Joel Patfull.
What I like about the Giants forward line is that their forwards, their bigs, are good in the air but also good on the ground. But kudos there to Brown. He's been super tonight. Like, it just competes. He goes like that one there. Stringer was out of position, turned around to go front and square, and Brown's come flying in to bring it to ground. They're not letting the opposition get any intercept marks in their back 50.
Right. Almost feel sorry for O'Sullivan. He's done well, but Cadman's kicked 6, and sometimes there's nothing you can do.
Hogan, Green, Cadman, Stringer, Riccardi, Darcy Jones down there, Callum Brown. Good luck trying to stop this Giants forward line as Atkins comes away with it, and he finds the sub who's taken a mark inside 50, Ollie Henry. He'll kick from 40 out on a slight angle to the left. It's all elementary now. The Giants lead by 38 points, but Ollie Henry would love to get on the board, and he does run around on the snap and guide that one through to bring it back to a 32-point margin. So the sub kicks one for the Cats.
That was a good centre clearance there by the Cats. They finally got one back, getting one out of the centre. I suppose now Geelong, what they do now, looking at this game, obviously Cameron's been held really well, but I sort of look at their midfield, really, like, can they add something to that? Like, what else can they get a bit of drive around the clearances, around stoppage, that sort of thing? Bailey Smith, for me, he hasn't had much impact. He's had a little bit of the ball, but he hasn't had as much impact, and the Giants' mids have been all over him.
Voice of Ryan O'Keefe. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. The 2 games still to come today, or tonight. From the restart, it's a wonky bounce. Umpire John Howarth. Ball in the air. Briggs down there for Tom Green. Handled there by Bailey Smith. Just soccers away here as not a run by Tom Green the second time. Briggs to Callaghan. O'Halloran tracks it now. Run down by Stanley. Footy comes loose. Umpire pays the advantage of the tackle. Atkins off here looking for Myers. At half forward now for the Cats. Pressured there by Briggs, the bigger man. Now Tom Green. We get a wave of possession going here for the Giants. O'Halloran delivers inside 50 and coming across the mark. Here's Harvey Thomas, the sub. Into the action just a short time ago. Big loud cheer for him.
Don't know if he's got the journey, I'm not sure. He's going for it.
Saying that based on his size, aren't you?
I said I don't know.
This is a prejudicial call from...
I literally don't know. I haven't seen him have a peck
He is fresh, so he's got a bit of energy in the legs.
Nor have I, to be honest. I haven't seen him kick goal from this far. He'd have to kick from all of 52, 53 metres. Harvey Thomas.
Jumped to conclusions there, Springer.
Sub 2 weeks in a row. Fresh into the action here for the Giants. On that left boot. Kicks from all of 50. It's away to the left-hand side. Comes up short. Brad Close, hand pass away here for Zach Guthrie. Burst away from a tackle. Shows it was Stewart. Just went the required 15 here. Right full back for the Cats.
Now we know. He can't.
No.
Stewart goes to centre half back and they swarm on Humphreys. He's won the free kick though, which is rather fortunate for Geelong because Buckley was eyeing up the big sticks, which would have been just the second goal of his career, Jack Buckley, if he'd kicked that, and first of the season. The free kick was paid to Humphreys. True centre half back for Geelong, trailing by 32 points. Cameron and Dangerfield, just the 12 possessions between them, blanketed by this Giants defence. Good mark by Blitzavs, quick handball to Close, and now Holmes over the top to Neal, who has stood up in a big way for Geelong up forward. Shannon Neal will have a kick for his 5th goal of the afternoon.
He's been good all day, hasn't he? He's provided the contest. Just get to the right position. It's a quick ball inside 50. He's quick to react, put himself in the right spot. To finish with 5 is a great effort.
He's super impressive. He's a big lump of a lad.
Shannon Neal, 40 out, slight angle to the right. He's got 5 goals for the game. And what has been a disappointing outing for Geelong, Shannon Neal can hold his head up very high. Cadman with 6 at one end, Stringer with 4, and Neal with 5 now for Geelong.
He leads at the ball, he flies, like you can't give him any space, and he kicks the ball beautifully.
He's got a big tank as well. He actually gets up the ground and then gets in behind the defenders as well, so you got to try and stop him every way you can. But super impressive, the Giants tonight. The Cats away from home, Friday night footy. You saw Collingwood lose last night. Geelong, after being almost dominant in Melbourne, haven't they? What's the feel there with the travel? Obviously, it's a huge advantage. These guys don't have to travel so much from Melbourne.
Well, they don't travel, and when they do travel, they arguably don't perform that well because they don't have those travel routines. You know, Yola, when you're travelling every second week, it doesn't affect you anymore.
That's why I've thrown it out there.
Yeah, you've got a routine, so to their advantage, the grand finals at the MCG, isn't it?
Geelong travel just once more this home and away season. That's back here in Sydney against the Swans next month. And as the Giants win the clearance, going forward at halfway, but Zach Guthrie parks himself under it and marks at left half back. By the way, it's an equal career best and season best for Shannon Neal with his 5 goals. Stewart under pressure here. Toby Green goes after him. Slips the tackle to Stewart and plays on. Thumps it down the line here. Closing the contest with O'Halloran. Come back here to Leka-Lear. And Aaliyah just sends it back down the line. But again, Stewart gets the better of Cadman, or not again, but this time he does at least. Holmes marks middle of the Sydney Showground.
He's strong, Stuart, isn't he? He's really strong through the hips.
Holmes is held up by Whitfield, goes to Manor, taps it to himself, now inside 50. O'Connor's well tackled by Ash, got the hands free. Now we'll have a boundary throw in now as the ball runs over the line, left half forward for Geelong. So the Giants up by 26 points. They will win 4 of their last 5, and they've still got Sam Taylor, Brent Daniels, and Stephen Cornelio potentially to bring back into this team. Daniels is a little way off, but Taylor next week, Cornelio pushing hard, going to be a force to be reckoned with from here on in. Adam Kingsley's side. Here's Angwin in defence. Iden taps it forward. Manor gathers it, snaps it back inside attacking 50. Himmelberg punches it away from the contest, and then Buckley with composure gathers and clears the area.
Over on offensive 50 up in the contest there. Humphreys with Cadman, who comes late, and this late in the game to make that contest. Darren Cadman, he receives the plaudits of the home faithful here.
And that's what I'd like to see. They're playing this game out, and Cadman, he can't mark it. He's getting a hand into spoil. Like he could quite easily concede. But what you say, like Taylor obviously comes in, he's one of the best defenders. Cornelio, can he get into this team?
That's an interesting one. Cornelio might struggle. Daniels definitely does when he's fit. But Cornelio's going to be a watch.
Played 2 VFL games now. Cornelio played today. O'Halloran hurries it from half back here for the Giants. Kicks in space. Getting there first is Henry down there. It's Jack Henry for the Cats, and now it's piled on from all angles. The umpire will ball it up.
Cornelio definitely he'll get a chance at some stage to play footy. They've got Thomas, Fonte in there as well. Guys like that will probably go out for at least 1 or 2 games and give him a look.
Tap down to Bailey Smith. Possession number 26 coming up for him. To half forward, and Neil couldn't take the mark, but won it down to Dempsey. Late stages of this game, Giants up by 26 points, and that's a mark. Deep in defence taken by Josh Kelly. With the headband on, copped a knock early. Blood was flowing from it. Good defensive mark from the Giants veteran, and he goes to half-back, where Lekalia takes the grab.
And 4 straight wins for the first time this year, the Giants. So 3 in a row before today. It was their best effort this year as far as winning runs. And they've found some momentum here. So a round of applause here for Lockie Whitfield in his 250th game. That is a nice moment here for the Giants faithful. Comes inboard to find Himmelberg. He's at a milestone still, 5 or 6 weeks away for his 200th. The Canberra lad. Wagga via Canberra. It's all part of the New South Wales ACT catchment. It's all that matters, Rhino. Yep. Up the members' side here. Cadman comes very late there on Stewart, and it will be thrown back in will it be a free kick? It will be a free kick going Tom Stewart's way.
You'll get a few texts from people from the Riverina Wagga, mate, if they
I've got enough
if you say Canberra and Wagga are the same.
Stewart down the line here. The Giants prevail again over the Cats. Despite that little lull midway through the season, I think everyone knows the Giants can make some big, big sounds come September.
There's a big, big sound from the west of the town. It's the sound of the mighty Giants. Feel the ground is shaking. The other teams are quaking in their boots before the Giants. We take the longest strides and the highest leap. We're stronger than the rest. We're the greater Western Sydney Giants. We're the biggest and the best, and we will never surrender. We'll fight until the end. We're greater than the rest.
They looked out of the hunt after round 8, the Giants, and also looked out of the hunt after the first few minutes of the game here at the Showground today. They gave up the first 3 goals of the game in quick time to the Cats. Trailed by 19 points midway through that opening term, or at time 1 of the opening term. Came back to build a lead throughout the game. 6 points at half-time the Giants' way. 25 points at the time. In the end, the full-time margin for the Giants is 38 points. 17-911 plays 13-7-85.
There's a big, big sound from the west of the town. It's the sound of the mighty Giants. Feel the ground is shaking. The other teams are quaking in their boots before the Giants. Take the longest strides and the highest leap. We're stronger than the rest. We're the greater Western Sydney Giants. We're the biggest and the best, and we will never surrender. We'll fight until the end. We're greater than the rest.
There was end-to-end stuff in that final term, but the Giants had done the hard work to that point. 4 straight wins for the first time this year. 38-point winners here tonight at home, thanks largely to Aaron Cadman, a career best 6 goals. 6 goals, 1 for him from 15 touches. Jake Stringer, 3 first-half goals for a total of 4 goals, 2 in the end. A couple of majors for Toby Green, the skipper. Singles to Jesse Hogan, who was subbed in that final term. Technically, Jake Riccardi, Callum Brown, Darcy Jones and Toby Bedford on the board as well for the home side. Meanwhile, for the Cats, Shannon Neal with a career best, equal career best, 5 goals for him. Jeremy Cameron, Brad Close, Brian Myers, Jack Bowes, Max Holmes, Ollie Dempsey, Ollie Henry, Sean Manor also on the board. What is going on here, Garby? Well, this is a song that you and your Liverpool faithful know so well.
Lockie Whitfield is a massive Liverpool fan. It's game 250 for him. I reckon this is a surprise that Lockie Whitfield doesn't know too much about. You'll Never Walk Alone is playing around the Sydney Showground. And there's a massive, as we call it in world football, tifo.
Yes, a big banner that comes down from that.
And it's got YNWA, You'll Never Walk Alone. Congrats on 250 winners. This is a very nice touch from the Giants. Now the Cats players are lining up, ready to provide a guard of honour for Lockie Whitfield, who's still being interviewed by TV broadcasters. And I dare say this is something that has been done as a surprise for Lockie Whitfield. I can't imagine he would have requested this.
I'll see if we can get the TV interview just turn around. If we don't get Lockie ourselves, we'll get someone else probably in the rooms with Declan. But if we don't get Lockie ourselves, I want to hear what his reaction was to this. This is fantastic. He's sort of pumping his fist. His teammates there to greet him. Jake Riccardi, Jesse Hogan. It's a nice moment. And this is without precedent as far as what they do for players. There is the guard of honour there with the Cats players lining up. There's a different song playing, not just the team song. There is the big banner, the tifo. And Lockie Whitfield will be cheered off the ground here by Harry Himmelberg and Jesse Hogan. That's a nice little sing-along as well. I'm sure Clint will, the Everton fan listening to this down the line, and Perth is throwing up in disgust because it's a Liverpool song. But this is great for Lockie Whitfield. And well done for the Giants making that possible for their 250 gamer. He might even... I thought Errol Gordon was the big Liverpool man. Maybe... how does Lockie Whitfield rival him, maybe? I don't know.
There's a fair few in Australia just to break some news that many people know in terms of Liverpool fans in this country.
Nice touch and something different there for the Giants to celebrate Lockie Whitfield, and they celebrate their 38-point win here over Geelong at the Sydney Showground. Ryan O'Keefe and Joel Patfull, your thoughts?
Super impressed by the Giants. I reckon that was probably the best game I've seen them play in just the way they went about it, the balance they got in their team, their forward line's clicking. You can just see if one's not, getting much of it. Like Jesse Hogan didn't really hit the scoreboard much today, even though he was competing really well, made some great contact. You got Stringer to step up, you got Cadman to 6 up, then you got Riccardi you can throw in there, and you got the Smalls. And they got a really good balance, and their midfield was just all over him. So against a really good opposition like Geelong, I'm really super impressed. From after quarter time, they played a really good brand of football, which I think will stand up for finals.
Yeah, you're right. They were tested as well, because Geelong came to play that first 10-15 minutes. They're up and about, kicked 4 goals and kind of got the jump on the Giants. So the way they responded to that, like you said, super mature, and it's a great sign for them moving forward in these last few weeks. It was a big test for the Giants. They needed to get a big scalp block. They haven't cemented their spot in finals, and this will go a long way to help them get those 14 wins. So they'd be very pleased to get that one over the line. But impressive all over the field, like you said. They had Cadman step up, but their backline in particular, I was really impressed with. I thought they worked well together. Sam Taylor's got to come back into that as well. So it was a great team performance. Connor Iden obviously as well, absolutely towed up Jeremy Cameron down there. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jeremy Cameron's a little bit sore or something. He'd spent the last 5 or 10 minutes on the bench as well. So great individual performances, but as a team as well, super impressive. I'll agree, it's one of the better games I've seen them play this year.
Well, it was weird that Cameron, who was having no impact on the game, wasn't sent through the midfield at some stage, which is so often the case with him. There must have been some sort of ailment that's troubling him.
You said, Ryan, during the call, who could they use? And he has been that player sometimes to go into the midfield and give him some momentum going forward. So he did look a little bit ginger. I wouldn't be surprised if he's carrying some sort of injury.
So the Giants players have gathered in front of that massive "You'll Never Walk Alone" banner for Lachie Whitfield. That's an enormous bit of artwork.
Did they preempt who's going to carry him off?
Yeah,
that's
because
exactly who it is. Or did they say, hey, we've done this poster, you two better get him off?
Aaron Cadman, hurry up. He's lagging behind, Aaron Cadman.
It's Briggs and Himmelberg in the image. I'm not sure if they lifted Whitfield up when he went through the Guard of Honour, but this sums up the family club that the Giants proclaim to be. All the players have gathered for a photo in front of that banner, which no doubt's a surprise for Lachie Whitfield on his 250th game, the big Liverpool fan.
They just to contextualise the achievement too. So we're talking about Lachie Whitfield being a pretty underrated guy as far as his profile outside this club and you know, in footy heartland or whatever else. But just the third to do it from this club. So you've got Cal Ward, Toby Green on that all-time games list ahead of him, and it's a solid achievement for a young club to have a 250 gamer.
Well, he's almost snuck up on it. When I saw it, you know, obviously he was getting close, but 250 is a huge effort. Like you said, only 3 other guys have got there, and yeah, I mean, it just goes to show how important he is to this team and how good he's been for such a long period of time.
Might have also beat Toby there if not for his injury out a couple of years ago. He had that awful internal injury, Lachie Whitfield, which he missed a bit of footy from. But yeah, nice celebration for him. Something different. The Giants do things differently, and that's a fantastic example of how it all comes together.
But the milestones here, Joel, you would know, you played for this club, they do hit a little bit different because it's not just 250 games in an AFL club. They've actually helped players like Whitfield and Green and Ward establish this club in terms of their culture. So there's a different feeling around it, which you would understand.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I was there, they were all first. So there wasn't a player in the history that had played 100. There wasn't a player that had played 150. So they're trying to establish that history, and I guess they probably go above and beyond to try and, you know, build that excitement and the history of the footy club.
Into the winners' rooms, Declan Byrne.
Yeah, and I just got confirmation from Jacob that it was a complete surprise for Lachie Whitfield. They were thinking of what to do and they thought this would get him, and he's absolutely loving it. He's walking in first alongside Darcy Jones, getting high fives. Very stoked with that Liverpool-themed celebration. And it is a packed room. There are kids galore. Toby Green is holding his little one. Jake Stringer's got his tribe of 4 kids with the dad 20 jersey on. Harry Himmelberg holding his little baby as well. So as you said, big family feel down here. It's 5 out of 6 here at the Sydney Showground this year for the Giants. Massive win, boosting up to 7th. Last one to join the circle, Cal Brown. They'll sing it loud for Lachie.
Big sound, big win for the Giants who go up into 7th spot, at least for now, because of course, keep in mind, Fremantle plays Hawthorn up next at Perth Stadium, so we'll get you there across our vast ABC radio network for that on local radio. Otherwise, you can hear a full call of Richmond versus Essendon on the ABC Listen app via the AFL Extra button from the MCG. But the Giants up into 7th for now. Of course, over to you, Freo, in that contest with Hawthorn. Hawthorn playing off their top 4 spot. We'll get there to Clint Wilden and the team very, very shortly. Of course, we'll get our reaction from the Giants' rooms here as well. Ryan O'Keefe and Joel Patfull. So we'll get down to Declan when we can. Just seeing the packed winners' rooms.
Looks like 3/4 of the crowd have been crammed into the Giants' winners' rooms.
The winners' room's always a busy room.
Just seeing if we can, having a few issues picking up Declan at the moment with our frequency. I think we're okay. Tegan, but we'll hear. We'll wait and see. We'll hear from someone very shortly with Declan in the rooms. 0437 774 774. And again, the story becomes just as much about the Cats, who, yes, they're top 4 for now, but with, of course, Hawthorn playing tonight, they could also take that spot from Geelong in the top 4 and displace them. So it's a remarkable run home we have in this AFL season.
Yeah, Geelong always get up there because they win so much at home, and they don't travel too much.
Declan, back to you.
Yes, we've got Jake Stringer here. We've pulled him away from his family. So, Jake, we appreciate you joining us here on ABC Sport. This is a packed rooms. You've got plenty of family here. What does this mean today?
Yeah, terrific win. Special to have the kids up for the school holidays. So, couldn't be proud of the boys. On to the Bombers next week. Can't wait.
Well, let's talk about today. As I said, you've got the family here, you've flown them up, but I'm guessing you don't get to play in front of them as much. They're all in their 20 jersey. What does it mean to have them all hugging you at the end of the game, and a good one for you as well on field?
Yeah, the last game the girls come to was Geelong at Geelong, so did me hammy halfway through the second quarter, so I thought I better try and not do that this time around. So, it's obviously special to get a win for Witters' 250th of same draft as me, and we've been mates since we were 14, so to reconnect when we're 31 and to get the job done for his 250th was awesome.
Mates when you were 14, so tell me about 14-year-old Lockie and seeing him now, nearly 15, 18 years on.
He hasn't changed one bit, that's for sure. He's still skinny, hasn't put any size on, he's still a gun at footy.
Let's head upstairs, your experts here on ABC Sport, Ryan O'Keefe and Joel Patfull.
Yeah, Jake, Ryan O'Keefe, congratulations. Mate, I was super impressed with your game, and what I was really impressed was you're doing you're chasing down, you're bringing forward pressure, you're bringing energy, and obviously capitalising the goals. But how's it been? It just looked like tonight the forwards, yourself, Cadman, Jesse, you got Riccardi there. Just tonight looked like you clicked. How's that sort of connection and that bond been now with your forwards?
Yeah, I mean, it was always going to be a bit of a work in progress, but we're sort of starting to all really understand each other's game really well. When you got Cads and Hogues bringing the ball to the ground to, me, Darcy Jones, Toby Green, Bedford, it's a pretty dangerous forward line.
Beautiful, mate. 4 goals tonight. Well done on that. The body was looking good. Obviously, you had the hamstring injury. I've seen you in the gym doing some extra work and extra conditioning. How are you feeling with this back end of the season and obviously taking on the old crew next week as well?
Yeah, I mean, it was, King is his call and to, just spend a couple more weeks to train and just get a bit more Ks into the legs, pretty much a mini pre-season, which was, I got sick a few times, so that sort of hindered it. But, he said to me about 6 weeks ago, he goes, mate, we're going to need you for the back half of the year, so hopefully I'm just starting to find a bit of form.
How have you found the move up to senior? There's been historically a lot of players that have had careers down in a Melbourne club and they've come up to Sydney and they've really enjoyed the to just get on and play footy, not worry about all this stuff. How have you found the move up here?
Mate, it's sensational. Go to training, go home and don't talk about footy. It's beautiful.
Brilliant. Jake, you've kicked 4 this afternoon, a massive impact from you. Aaron Cadman's kicked 6. A career best following on from the 5 he kicked against Brisbane not long ago. What has really struck you about him and the way he goes about his footy as he really starts to show his absolute best now?
Yeah, he was probably one of the ones in the pre-season that I was a bit taken back by. He was almost unstoppable in the pre-season. He was clunking everything. I just kept saying to him early in the year, I said, mate, it's going to click, and when it does, look out. And, he had a couple of almost games early in the year, and then he had that Brisbane game, and I was like, if that's it, the league's going to be on a bit of notice. And, he's certainly starting to show that now.
Jake, Brett Sprigg here. The nature of your role, and it was your best game as a Giant tonight, which was fantastic, those 4 goals. The nature of your role, I suppose, being an impact player is there are going to be mercurial things that happen. Sometimes things come off, sometimes they don't. Do you get a sense, as was the case, say, early in the second term or late in the first term, where you feel like, okay, tonight really could be my night?
Not really. I always feel like no matter what game I'm in, I'll have some type of moment that I'll be able to take and hopefully be able to turn the game in our favour. So that's sort of how I just base it on. As a forward, you can be quite dependent on what's going on up the field. So, I just try and take my moments when they come and try and have an impact when I can.
And the finishing from you was obviously apparent. But what happened after those first 3 goals that the Cats kicked? They brought the intensity early on. How did you turn that around from the early stage?
Yeah, we knew they were going to come out hot. There seems to be a bit of a trend in our game at the minute. We're sort of starting the first 10 minutes and then we're playing catch-up, and then once we get rolling, we're rolling. But, it seems to be a team either jumps us or we jump them, so probably going to get in the arm wrestle in that first 10 minutes a bit better and let our game just unfold from there.
You mentioned you've got one of your old sides next week, a 5-day break into Thursday night at Docklands. You might get Sam Taylor back, maybe Steve Cornelio. How do you approach the game against the Dons next week?
I wish it was tomorrow.
Wish it was tomorrow? Does it feel that way for you, with that personal connection to the club, that you want to go out there and obviously perform just as well as you did today?
Not really, I don't really care. Just go out and play against another team and hopefully get a win.
Doesn't matter whether it's Essendon, the Dogs or anyone, doesn't matter.
Don't worry, mate.
Appreciate your time, Jake. Well played.
No worries, thank you.
Jake Stringer with us in the winners' rooms there for the Giants.
That was an interesting answer.
He didn't give you what you wanted, did he?
Well, he gave me something, which I wasn't expecting. That's fine by me.
You've been calling the cricket too much. You're like a fast bowler. You're just working him, throwing a bouncer to see what he'd do.
He picked the in-swinger. But, I mean, look, I think you can read between that whatever you like as far as what it means to players. I think particularly in the way that, I don't want to create a narrative that's not there, but the way that he left the Bombers last year and the point he had to prove here at the Giants, I think you'd feel pretty much...
He's going to have a massive game next week. He's on.
Well, the way in which he answered that, saying, I wish it was tomorrow, that says to me, listening in, I don't know if that's true, but reading between the lines, which is what you do with these answers sometimes, is that he is firing up for this one. He wants to give it to them for whatever reason in terms of the way he left the club.
And when you're in form, you're in form. So if you had a good game against anyone, as you did tonight, you want to just have that next game again straight away.
Exactly. Well, it doesn't matter how you leave a footy club. You want to go back and play well when you play them as well. So, and especially if you do leave on, uncertain terms or slightly negative terms, he'll be ready to go next week.
But also, I don't think it's the football club and the players. It'd be the fans and maybe a bit of the Melbourne press down there as well. He want to just show, hey, I've still got plenty of football left in me.
Declan, back down to you quickly.
Yeah, I was just standing there, obviously, next to Jake Stringer, and he was the one that first brought up Essendon, and you could see a glint in his eye. So I agree with you guys. Read a bit more into it. He is very keen for that game against Essendon.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Declan, for your efforts right across the evening here as well. Let's just hear from Lockie Whitfield and his post-game interview, courtesy of Fox Footy. And this all happened as a surprise with You'll Never Walk Alone and the big tifo from that southern stand was unfurled here at the Sydney Showground. Lockie Whitfield, courtesy of Fox Footy, speaking now to Lynch.
A special night for you and your family, no doubt, to be the third person to play 250 games for this great club.
It is, Wardy and Tobes are blokes I look up to, and I get to be with them every day. So that's great. And I know it's just a fun club to be around, and I'm just really enjoying my footy at the moment.
Must be a special moment up there as well. The banner comes down. Tell us a little bit about that.
That's a bit of carry on, I think. Good footy club. It's good how we celebrate our old blokes in these sort of ways, so they make you feel really loved, and just a good win, mate. Happy to be here.
There's a bit in this song, I suppose, Never Walk Alone.
Oh yeah, I'm a big Liverpool fan. Somehow they've just carried that all week. That's awesome. I'm just loving it, mate, as I said.
What about the family? Get big numbers up here, a few tickets, no doubt.
Yeah, all the boys are dirty as on me because they paid all the flights to Perth last week, so... but, they're loyal mates and they've come up again this time round. A lot of family, so we'll get to celebrate tonight now.
What did he say? That's a bit of carry on. When he saw well, I'm sure he loved it, with that milestone game for Lockie Whitfield, the 50 gamer. Okay, a couple of your texts quickly. 0437 774 774. Mick, thank you for your text. Just talking about Geelong needing to produce something special in that last quarter because the Giants normally finish strong at home. Well, it's also not been the case for the Giants finishing strong in games. We've seen them get big leads run down here in finals as well. Thanks so much, guys, for recognising both Lockie Whitfield and our Nick. This is from Auntie Diane and Uncle Con, Camden, New South Wales. What a great and very tough defender Nick has been since 2012. So many great... This is Nick Boston, by the way, for those that don't know. Nick Boston's auntie text in the program, listening here locally in Sydney. And, of course, Richmond plays Essendon. It's Nick Boston's 250th game coming up next. 2020 grand final, when taken out badly and concussed after collision with danger. Not often a huge recognition of this his hugely tireless efforts over 13 years, we feel, as defenders don't always get that. Hey, thanks again.
You're telling me.
Auntie Diane and Uncle Con from Camden, New South Wales.
Amen.
Great to hear from you. So Richmond Essendon up on the ABC Listen app via AFL Extra, or most of us heading off on local radio to the Dockers and the Hawks at Perth Stadium. Massive game. Geelong now, Ryan O'Keefe and Joel Patfull. They've lost 2 of their past 3 either side of a bye. Next up, they'll host St Kilda at Academia Park. That's on Sunday in the 1 o'clock game. So should get things back on track there. But it just tonight's thrown a bit of a jumble into that top 4 and top 8 makeup. Where did Geelong go from here?
Oh, look, I sort of... Yeah, but they're good at home. They get a lot of wins at home. That's why they're always up in the finals. They always push up near top 4. When they travel, they're a bit suspect. And when they're playing, and then when they get on that bigger ground, it's hard to defend. Like Candidia Park's, it's like playing on the Princess Highway. It's super long and skinny, so it's really easy to defend. And particularly if your midfielder's not accountable, you can sort of cover it and slide across. But you get on the bigger grounds of wide space, and you can see what the Giants did to them. They cut them up. You can really expose them. And so, yeah, that's probably just where I sort of see that. Yeah, if come finals, you've got to play at the MCG and all that sort of stuff. That against good sides that use the ball and can win it at the contest, they find it hard.
It did seem like that there was a lot more space in that Geelong defence than normally. The Giants were able to cut through it, whether it was run and carry or by foot. So, but I mean, I think we talked about it a bit during the call. Like they leave Melbourne once for the rest of the year, so they'll win games there and they'll bank those games and they'll I reckon they'll finish top 4 and they'll play a few finals. I can't see them winning it, but they're going to get close.
I can't see them making the grand final. We're trying up there. Look, I know Collingwood lost last night, but I still think they're the best team at the moment. And Brisbane too. Look, they just got play. They just find a way to win. And then you have to throw the Suns up there. And I think we saw tonight with the Giants. Like if they get going, like they're a hard team to stop. And then Adelaide.
Winners by 26 points here, the Giants over the Cats. Did I say 38 points earlier? I think I added a goal to the wrong team. 26 points. So is the full-time margin here, not 38. That's way off. 79 plays, 13-7 here, the full-time score. Who are your 3 best, Ryan O'Keefe? Do you need some time to...
I've had to think about it. It's could be a bit controversial, but I'm going to give one to Connor Iden. I thought he was fantastic down
there. Love
the
controversy.
I watch players that actually impact the game. I don't look at the stat sheet. 2 and 3. This one could have gone either way, but I'm going to give 2 to Cadman.
Ooh,
kicked 6, and I have to give 3 to Finn Callahan. He was dominant. He's had 12 contested possessions. He's had 9 clearances, 8 score involvements, 5 inside fit. He was just everywhere, and he just from the get-go, his intensity, and I reckon he would have had 5 or 6 centre bounce clearances.
3 to Finn Callahan, 2 to Aaron Cadman, 1 to Connor Iden. Joel's gone. Did you have
I did the same? Yeah, I'd Iden 1, Callahan, Cadman 3. So
you had 3 to 2 mixed.
I had Cadman for 3. I thought 6 goals in the second half, probably the one that was hugely influential in getting them over the line.
A career best haul and a career best mark as far as goals across the year, still with a fair chunk of the season to play. As I say, the Giants are away to Essendon at Docklands. That's on Thursday night, so a 5-day break into that game, which they will get. Well, they hope to get back Sam Taylor. Maybe Stephen Cornelio. That's the other question. Does he come back into this team? He's played 2 games in the VFL now. Is there a spot for the veteran and former captain in this Giants side?
Well, you can see what they do with their midfield. They swing a few players through there, so you obviously get a look in there. But where does he play if he's not in the middle? Because you got Callahan and Green are your two stable inside mids, and then they throw Darcy Jones in there. You throw Bedford in there. They had. I think Ralston went through there.
They're not going to drop Rouston at the moment. They're not going to drop O'Halloran at the moment.
No.
I mean, maybe it's as a sub next week, honestly, and Harvey Thomas gets some more game time in the VFL, which
maybe
that might just be the way to try and bring him in and get him involved again.
And the other players, you got like Angwin. He's good as a sport defender. Yeah. So
Angwin wasn't bad, but it's got to be one of those guys that'll probably miss out. It's Angwin. Rouston's been too good. You can't get rid of it. I think they'll give him a shot as a sub. They'll at least give him an opportunity to play some footy. Whether he stays in the team come finals is probably another question as well.
The Cats, as I mentioned, don't leave Melbourne again until they come back to Sydney to face the Swans. That's in, round 23. So they go back to playing Geelong or Melbourne for the rest of the season.
They got Saints next, which they should win.
Yep.
Then after that, who they got?
They got North Melbourne away
at Marvel,
Dockland. Yep.
Away.
Port at home.
Oh, that's 3 in a row.
Essendon,
4 in a row.
And Sydney. There's a massive watch now on the Swans who play against the Saints tomorrow, because the derby here in a couple of weeks' time, Friday night game, huge. Already it's pretty huge because the Giants have 11 wins. You need probably 13, 14 to be guaranteed, and the Swans aren't done yet. So we'll see what happens.
The Swans are going to be the best team to not make finals for a long time. Some of the losses that they had in the start of the year, they will rue them at the end of the season, because the way I see it, them just missing out. But they are playing good footy and potential to play better footy in this back half of the year.
They're playing great footy now.
Coming up on News Radio, you're on back to local programs throughout Sydney and Canberra. On Local Radio DAB Plus, you've got the Saturday evenings program nationwide coming up, whereas the rest of us are off to Fremantle and Hawthorn at Perth Stadium, there with Clint Wilden, Mitch Turner, Peter Bell, Cara Antonio and Akash Wadada. So that game coming up, blockbuster. We'll talk about games of top 8 and top 4 consequence. That's huge for the Dockers and the Hawks. Otherwise, you can hear Richmond Essendon on the ABC Listen app. You can hear Wimbledon tonight, the doubles final, the women's singles final as well. Men's doubles tomorrow night. The cricket tomorrow morning from 4:30 Australian Eastern Time, as well as the AFL, the NRL, all the usual stuff here. British and Irish Lions, all covered for you via ABC Sport. Thank you, Pebs.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joel Patfull. Thanks, Garby.
Thank you very much. Big win, Giants.
To Declan Byrne, to Tegan Nichols, our tech, and to Craig Davis in the studio. To you, most importantly, for your company, the Giants win here by 26 points. Big win for them. Freo Hawthorn for most of us coming up next.
The ABC Listen app has it all. The British and Irish Lions Tour of Australia, Wimbledon, and West Indies versus Australia. Oh, and did I mention we're doing the footy every weekend? ABC Sport on the ABC Listen app.